Welcome you beautiful people to another ultimate chair buying guide for 2024 to 2025. I have tested and reviewed over 100 chairs, and this past year I tested a bunch more, and I create an annual chair buying guide for you, the person watching. I also created a spreadsheet guide which you can use to follow along. I'll link that in the description as well as down in the pinned comment. When I say that this is for you, I'm trying to keep in mind the different ways that you all like to sit. Some of you are gassy and nasty, and so you might want a mesh chair. Some of you like leather, because you're kinky. Some of you like to lounge back. Some of you want to sit healthier this year. So whether you're big and tall, short and small, whether you're a spreader or you're a tucker, whether you're a big spender or frugal, I've kept you in mind when making this list. We're gonna split this video in 4 sections. The first one are gonna be the best chairs for my short kings and queens, so 5'3" and under. Then for my average height folks from 5'4" all the way to 6'2", and then for my tall freak of nature kings and queens out there from 6'3" and taller. The 4th section are gonna be my recommendations for active seating chairs. These are unconventional chairs that help the blood flow, help the brain juices go throughout the day. In each of the height categories, I'm gonna have 3 subcategories where I break down the chairs based on price. We're gonna have our budget lineup, which is $0 to $400, our mid-range price, which is $400 all the way to $1,000, and then our I'm rich, biatch, I'm a baller, $1,000 plus. I'm rich, biatch! This is gonna be a long video, so timestamps will be your friend. Also, again, please use that spreadsheet guide. It's gonna be in the description as well as in the pinned comment. And there you're gonna find 3 things. You're gonna find the coupons and latest sales, and I'm gonna be on top of this thing. This is gonna be updated for years to come, so make sure you bookmark it. The second thing you're gonna find are purchase links. These are affiliate links. They help support this channel. This content is totally free. It really helps these honest reviews going, and I really appreciate your support. And the third thing you're gonna find are individual links to each of these chair reviews that I've done throughout the years. So again, please use that spreadsheet guide. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below of your favorite chair. That helps the algorithm gods push this video out. And I'm almost at 100,000 subs. It would be amazing if I could hit that before the end of the year. Your support means the world to me, and I appreciate you all. For the short kings and queens. For the short kings and queens out there, unfortunately, a lot of chair manufacturers aren't really thinking about you all because you do make up a smaller percentage of the population. So here are some quick thoughts for you all, some overarching thoughts. The first is that if a chair has a headrest option, don't get it. Most likely, you won't be able to reach it and it's gonna be an extra cost. Instead of that, go ahead and use that extra money saved on a footrest. I've done an entire video on footrests, but for the short kings and queens out there, the one I recommend is the Learmart footrest, the one I have here. The reason why is because this thing is able to adjust and get super duper high like this. And look how high that sucker gets. And it's adjustable, which means that you can go ahead and click it down to any level so that if you wanted to push down on it like this at an angle, you could spin it around and have your foot kind of hanging on it like this. It's really adjustable. This will be linked in the spreadsheet as well as a full video that I've done on footrests. Again, in that spreadsheet guide, it'll be linked in the description as well as the pinned comment. Another pro tip is that if you're somebody who likes to curl up in your chair like this, or you're a double tucker like this, you can fit pretty much any chair in this list unless I specify otherwise. So don't just settle for watching this section. You can also watch the average height as well as the tall folks section as well for options. Short kings and queens, budget tier. I tested a bunch of chairs under $100 and the Amazon Basics chair came out on top. This thing had the best cushioning on the seat as well as no awkward or weird feelings on the butt area as well. The backrest was completely open and it was pretty soft on the sides as well, allowing you to really open and spread those arms, and the armrests are pretty soft as well. Just keep in mind, a chair under $100 is not meant to be an all-day daily driving chair. This cushion will flatten over time. It's a cheap chair. This PU leather, it's just fake leather. It's probably going to crack after a little bit. So if you're someone who sits all day, every day for hours at a time, you may want to increase your budget quite a bit compared to this chair. But if you're someone who is an infrequent sitter, this could work for you. The next couple chairs I'm going to show are going to be from Staples. And the reason why Staples is a really unique chair here is because Staples has a 7-year warranty, and for my research, their customer support is pretty good. Their cushions and their fabrics are pretty budget, but again, because of that warranty and their customer support behind that, this is why a lot of these chairs are gonna make it onto this budget section. So the first one we have here is the Staples Traymore. This thing is a tiny chair, but this is gonna be a great option for my short folks. If the Amazon Basics chair a second ago had good cushion, this thing has double that cushion. I mean, it is really cushioned both in the seat as well as in the back. Nothing fancy, it's a small chair for small people. I think it'll fit small people really well. Adjustments are very, very basic though. Next up at $150 is the Staples Serena. This again, another Staples chair, great warranty. Of all the chairs that I tested, I think this one ranked in like number 4. The seat cushion feels really good. Again, feels really padded. You kind of like sink into it. It's nice. The arm cushionings are nice. The backrest is soft all around. Great for tuckers, great for sitters, vanilla sitters who sit just plainly like this. Great for everyone. The controls and functions are really basic. The reason why this one stands out though compared to every single chair on this list are going to be these armrests. They actually swivel up. I've tested a ton of chairs with swivel up arms, and I'm telling you guys, they all suck. The arms don't go up far enough, and so your triceps end up crashing into them when you try to just sit in the chair. They're all terrible. The Serena has a good cushion, a good backrest, and the arms go completely out of the way so that you're never bumping into them. That makes it really unique. And if you're a short king and queen out there, you know what it's like to find a chair where the armrests go low enough so you can actually scooch into your desk. With this, you don't need to worry about that at all. Next up for the short kings and queens are mesh chair options from Staples. This is the Staples Dexley, and not pictured here, but recommended is the Staples Hyken. The Hyken right now is at home. My 7-year-old son uses it. You do have to be a little taller than he is to fit that chair nicely, but he likes it. And the reason why these chairs are so great is because they're really good budget mesh chairs, extremely popular from Staples. People rave about them all the time. People think that this is as much as you used to spend on a chair, which is just under $200. I personally tested the Dexley this past year, and I like it over the Hyken. I think the seat, this mesh seat feels really, really good. The lumbar support feels great, and I like the headrest over the Hyken. It's big, it's wide. I feel like it's pretty comfortable, pretty soft as well to lean on it. Now, normally with budget mesh chairs, I wouldn't recommend a weight over 150 pounds because it could tear, it could sag pretty easily. However, with Staples' great customer support and 7-year warranty, I'm gonna say weigh whatever you want, sit the hell out of these chairs, and then claim that warranty, get those chairs replaced, whatever needs to be done for that chair. It's not gonna be great though for single tuckers and double tuckers because these mesh chairs typically have hard edges, and if you single tuck, your ankle is gonna be kind of turned up, and especially double tucking, you're gonna get the same effect on the other side, so something to keep in mind. It's great for people who are particularly gassy because those booty juices will just kind of flow right through the chair, surprising everyone else, but it won't stain your chair. Next chair for the short kings and queens is the $180 Staples Carter, or as Jackie Chan likes to say, Carter! The Staples Carter was my #1 chair pick under $200 from Staples. And the reason why is because it's got a fantastic cushion, but most importantly, the amount of adjustments on this chair are absolutely ridiculous. Not only can the backrest be moved up and down, although if you're a short king or queen out there, not sure why you'd want that, but if you find the lumbar doesn't hit quite right, you can adjust it. The seat cushion is great. It's really, really thick, but the best thing is that the amount of adjustments you get in this chair are pretty ridiculous. Not only do you get this kind of backrest adjustment, so you can adjust it however far back you want this backrest alone to go, but you also can lock the chair in a tilted position. So you can unlock the chair tilt and you can lock it there as well. It's the only chair in this price range where you can do that, and it's phenomenal. It's a really, really great chair. 7-year warranty, good customer service. Carter's the way to go, baby. Coming in next for the short kings and queens is the Clatina Mellet. This thing is $250, and compared to everything else we've seen so far, this thing is a step above. The number of adjustments you get on this, the features, the controls you get on this thing are just gonna be a step above everything we've seen, including the Carter as well. This one is the headrest version. Again, for my short kings and queens, highly recommend you don't get this. You're probably gonna be sitting at the bottom of it. It's not gonna fit you well, but some of the adjustments that can be done, the big standout, the seat cushion is phenomenal. It's really dense, really thick. It's got like a medium soft cushy to it, but the biggest standout here is gonna be the recline. The recline on this thing is reminiscent of the Steelcase Leap V2, which is a $1,300 chair. When you lean back, the seat kind of tilts forward a little bit, and it's just a really nice recline. A chair for $250 that reclines like this is really, really great. Even if you're not a recliner, the armrests can adjust pretty well. They go pretty low as well. And just, I don't know, there's so much about it to like. The seat pan can come out as well like this. Something to keep in mind though is that if you are a double tucker and you want the max amount of space in your chair, if you scooch all the way back on this, you will feel a heavy hanging of your butt. So if you're someone who wants to double tuck, you need a lot of seat depth, you might want to pass on this one, and you might want to check out the next chair. For $280, you get the Kolami Atlas. For my short kings and queens, again, don't get the headrest version, save your money, don't buy this part. But the rest of the chair is, again, a class above compared to everything under $200 we've seen so far. This thing is really, really, really great. The seat cushion is really unique. It's, again, I keep saying this, but the seat cushion is really good. I think that's going to be one of the best indicators of a chair is going to be the seat cushion and how it feels. The amount of adjustments on this thing are really great. This seat depth motion is reminiscent of the Steelcase Gesture. That is a $1,500 chair. The way it works is that you pull this thing out and you can go ahead and slide out the seat cushion. By the way, if you watch my individual review on this chair, there were two things that I got really, really wrong about this chair. The first one is that the seat depth can actually lock. You have to push this in, and when you do that, it's gonna lock the seat depth in place. And the second one was the headrest. I said it wasn't adjustable on the x-axis, but it is. It was just really, really, really stiff. Even now, it's still pretty stiff, but because of that, you get adjustments on the headrest, both up and down. You can swivel it, and then you can move this thing in and out, which is phenomenal for a headrest at this price. The biggest standout though here is that not only does that seat depth thing work really well like a much more expensive chair, you can put your full weight on it and turn it out and lock it in place, but also it is completely, there's no gap on the seat at all, which means that you can scooch all the way back, you can double tuck, you can curl up in it, and you're not gonna feel your butt hanging off of this chair at all. It's really great. The only con about this chair is that the lumbar can be pretty aggressive, pretty thick. It's just a plastic piece that kind of digs into your back. A lot of people have said they just go to the fabric store, get a foam layer, and just put it on there, and it relieves it really easily. So that is a potential fix. Pretty cheap fix as well, and I think for that reason, this one is recommended. Next up is the Branch ergonomic chair. This thing comes in at $330, and just like the previous two chairs we saw, the amount of adjustments and controls and features are actually really, really great. A couple things that I really like is that this backrest is a mesh back, but it's got this foam layer, which makes it really comfortable on your back, and then the lumbar support has a thick foam pad on it, which makes it really inoffensive for that lower back. This thing can be adjusted up and down as well, and I really like the seat cushion. It's really thick, it's really dense. The armrests, these are pretty good armrests. They're able to go pretty far in and out as well, up and down, and they can slide forward and back as well, and then you can lock it on the bottom once you're ready. And the seat depth compared to the Clatina Mellet, which was the chair 2 chairs ago, when you pull out the seat depth on the Branch ergonomic, you won't feel the seat gap like you would on the Clatina Mellet. Now, the reason why this thing comes in at a little bit more expensive compared to those other two is that you get a 7-year warranty with this chair. So if you want to have that peace of mind, that is something to consider. Because it's soft all around the seat, it's great for single tuckers, double tuckers. You can sit however you want inside of this chair. And because the armrest can slide out, you do get a little extra room inside of the chair as well. A lot of you are going to ask, what about the Branch Ergonomic Pro? I actually have it over there. It's buried in chairs, so I can't access it right now. I have tested it. I have a review coming up for it. Unfortunately, the Branch Ergonomic Pro, in my humble opinion, is not worth it. Everything about the chair is great. Everything about the chair is an upgrade, minus the seat. The seat bottoms out really hard. My editor confirmed I'm not crazy. We're not very heavy. I'm like 167 pounds. He's like 150 on a good day. I mean, he's pretty lightweight, and even he could feel the bottom instantly in that chair, which for us is a big deal breaker. So for all those who wanted to know, the Branch Ergonomic is the way to go. Save your money, don't get the Pro. The last chair on this budget tier is going to be the open box Haworth Soji. Now, my friends over at Crandall Office, I love those guys, have a great reputation, have just been phenomenal partners, not sponsored, but just people that I work with to be like, hey, can I recommend a used dealer? And Crandall Office has always been my go-to. They have an excellent reputation. Go look at Reddit, go look at their reviews. Phenomenal people. Anyways, they recently got the green light to sell open box Haworth products, which are basically chairs that people return to Haworth. They make sure that it's all fixed up, and then they sell them at a 35% discount. Phenomenal price. The Haworth Soji is my favorite chair on this budget tier list. Not because it's the most expensive, but because it is just a phenomenal chair. Really like this thing. The seat cushion is really phenomenal. Just feels really good. It's not very thick, but it's super soft, and you don't feel the bottom. At least I don't. The backrest also is really nice as well, really inoffensive. Now, to the touch, it is scratchy, but as long as you're wearing clothes, you're not going to feel that at all. The lumbar support is great as well. Really provides nice, a little bump back there. The big standout feature about this chair, this is an optional upgrade, so something to look for if this is what you want, is going to be the forward tilt. Now, forward tilt, you're going to see this come up on a few chairs, but it's the ability that when you kind of lean back and tilt forward while pulling this lever, you're actually able to tilt the chair forward. Now, why would you want this? It's for people who want to get close up to their screens, whether you're gaming, you're doing something like knitting or some kind of craft at your desk. You're able to sit kind of tilted forward without slouching like this, right? Like a lot of people would slouch forward while doing these things. By having the front tilted forward, you're actually able to dig the feet into the ground, and it's easily able to get that back straight and in good posture while you do what you need to do. I've also heard that for people who are older, having this forward tilt also, because the pressure is here, you're able to much easily get out of the chair and do what you need to do. So that is a standout feature, something that you cannot find in this thing. Now there's a big caveat here, something to note, because I'm never gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna keep it honest. Crandall Office sells a bunch of remanufactured and authorized return chairs from Steelcase, Herman Miller, and now Open Box from Haworth. Now with their Steelcase and Herman Miller chairs, they're able to offer a 12-year warranty on the entire chair and free returns. With their Haworth chairs though, they're only offering a 2-year warranty, and all sales are considered final sale. If you were to buy this thing new, it's $600 and you get a 12-year warranty from Haworth. However, with Crandall Office, it's no returns and 2-year warranty. So you have to determine whether or not that's a trade-off you're willing to make. The $600, the regular Soji from Haworth, will show up in the next tier list. So in case you're interested, I'll talk about it again there. So yeah, I'll see you there. Short kings and queens, mid-tier. For my shorter friends in that mid-tier budget, the first chair we have is the Haworth Breck. This thing is about $420, and I just keep going back to this thing. I reviewed this chair recently, and it's kind of left here on the outside, and I've got a bunch of chairs over there, and I keep coming back to this one. It doesn't look like much, but I'm telling you, there's something about this chair. I love it so much, especially the seat cushion. Again, a lot of it comes back to the seat cushion. I don't know what they did on this thing. It looks pretty thin, but I cannot feel the bottom on it, and it's just been incredible for me. I also love this backrest. This is a plasticky backrest, and it's got holes in it for great breathability. And for some reason, this plasticky thing, it doesn't dig in at all. It feels really comfortable, really supportive. Again, I don't know what it is. I keep coming back to this, but also for $420 starting price, you get a 12-year warranty, free returns. This is a unicorn chair. I love it so much, and I strongly, highly recommend this thing if you're not looking to break the bank, but you want a good chair at a good price point. This is the Steelcase Amiya, and I love this chair. It is a sleeper chair. It looks pretty basic. It doesn't look special at all, but this seat cushion is phenomenal. This backrest is really solid as well. It's got solid build quality coming from Steelcase, and you can buy this in 3 different ways for 3 different price points. So stay with me here. It's gonna get a little confusing. The first 2 ways are going to be from a company called Crandall Office. Again, you can look them up. They have a great reputation, solid folks. I've done videos with them before in the past. This video is not sponsored. They're just excellent people, and finding good people in the used chair industry is really difficult to do. So these guys I highly trust. Anyways, the first 2 methods. So it comes in at $520, and it's their remanufactured Amiyas. Remanufactured for Crandall Office means that they found old Amiyas and they fixed them up with their refurbishing process, cleansed and deep cleaned and replaced the cushions, replaced the padding, the fabric on the chairs. They did a deep refurbishing process on the chair, and it comes in at $520. You get a 12-year warranty on that entire chair and free returns as well. Then, if you step up, there's an $800 option. This is their Steelcase authorized returns. Authorized returns means that it's people who bought an Amiya brand new from Steelcase, decided they didn't like it, and they returned it to Steelcase. Crandall Office goes and buys those chairs from Steelcase and sells them. And again, Crandall Office provides a 12-year warranty on the entire chair and free returns on the authorized return Amiyas. That is $800. And then you can buy this thing brand new, and these all fit in the same price category here. You can buy it brand new from Steelcase for about $1,000. And all that means is that you're getting a new Amiya, and you get the 12-year warranty from Steelcase, directly from Steelcase, and free returns from Steelcase as well. This, again, it's a sleeper chair every time. I love it. Every time people come to my studio and test out my chairs, they always ignore this because it looks pretty plain Jane. And then I tell them to sit on this one. They sit on it, and I get the same reaction every time. It's always, oh, because I don't think they're expecting this chair to be as good as it is. Here's a pro tip. If you decide to get a remanufactured or an authorized, I think only remanufactured. I don't think authorized return offers it, but on the remanufactured from Crandall Office, they actually offer to sell you a thicker cushion on the seat. It's essentially the same cushion, same foam, just thicker. And some people opt to do that because some people have claimed to feel the bottom on this cushion. I have never, I'm 167, 170 pounds. I've never felt the bottom on this cushion, but some people do say they can feel it. And so if you're worried about that, get the thicker cushion upgrade. It might cost you a little bit extra, but again, 12-year warranty, free returns on the entire chair. Excellent chair. The Hayward Soji makes its return, like I said it would. This thing comes at about $575 to $600. I've already kind of broken it down. It's a great chair. I think one of the best, more budget-friendly chairs. I know, $600 is not budget, I understand, but relative to the other chairs on this list, it's considered, pretty budget. The chair cushion is really nice. The backrest is phenomenal. A little bit scratchy, but if you're wearing clothes, you won't notice it. That forward tilt that I demonstrated earlier in that budget tier, if you're to use it, you can tilt your chair seat pan forward, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to get closer to your desk, to your screen, whatever it is, and because your feet are planted in the ground, because of that tilt, allows your back to really straighten up, get good posture while you're doing what you need to do, which is a feature that we haven't seen on this list just yet. The Soji is a phenomenal value, $575, 12-year warranty, free returns to Hayworth, an excellent choice. For my short kings and queens, you've seen these racing style gaming chairs. If you're adamant that you want one, I have seen people who love these chairs, even though the Secretlab Titan Evo 2022 has a really, really stiff bottom. There are people who love these chairs because they can curl up inside of it. They love the idea of having this oversized chair. I actually did a sizing guide with ladies for the Secretlab Titan Evo 2022, and they're all tiny people, but they all chose the XL version, the biggest Titan Evo 2022 available, because they just like the fact that it just kind of like, I don't know, it like consumes them. I don't know what it is, but they love it. And so because of that, that's why this is here. If you're somebody who likes the idea of a racing style gaming chair, but you want a softer cushion, the Under-Seat Kaiser 3 is my pick for that. This Titan Evo 2022 is around $550 and goes up to $600. The Kaiser 3 is around $450. So these are two of the chairs that I recommend. The big standout features here are going to be the high back, so you're not going to have to worry about any part of your back hanging off or anything like that. And then it's going to be the idea that you can go ahead and fully tilt this thing back on both chairs. It's this, right? The ability to lean all the way back and just kind of chill in your chair. If you're tucking or curling like this, you could technically take a nap inside of your chair if that's something what you really wanted to do. Both chairs are able to do this. And again, just really big chairs. However, if you are a vanilla sitter, I strongly do not recommend these chairs because these seat depths on these chairs are very, very long. And so me being 5'6", I can barely fit like one finger in the back of my knee pit here and the front edge. You're typically traditionally supposed to be able to fit, not traditionally, but best practice is you're supposed to be able to fit 2 fingers back here. So unless you're double tucking or curling up inside of your chair, again, I don't really recommend these racing style gaming chairs. The one benefit of the Secretlab Titan Evo 2022 is that these guys offer a 5-year warranty. The Kaiser 3, I think it's a 1 or a 3-year warranty, but I think customer service on both these chairs is going to be hit or miss, so something to keep in mind. Next up for the short kings and queens is the Steelcase Leap V2, the remanufactured version, and the authorized return version from Crandall Office. The remanufactured, again, means that they took old Steelcase Leap V2s, they refurbished it, they put on new fabric on it, they sanitized it, they cleaned it, they replaced any broken parts, things like that, and they sell it to you with a 12-year warranty and free returns. Also, on the and this thing starts at about $600, so the remanufactured version. Also, on the remanufactured versions, you can get a thicker seat cushion. One of my biggest complaints about the Steelcase Leap V2 was that for a very expensive chair, because it cost $1,300 new from Steelcase, the seat cushion was too thin, and I felt like I was bottoming out, which was unacceptable to me for a chair at that price point. However, Crandall Office sells a thicker version of the seat cushion, and I highly recommend it. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But before I talk about why I like it, you can also get an authorized return version, which means it's people who bought something from Steelcase, bought this chair from Steelcase, said they didn't like it for whatever reason, they returned it, Crandall Office took it, fixed up any dings or whatever that was on it, or they'll tell you about the dings and they sell it to you, and that one is about $1,000. So it hits the top point of this price list. Both of them fit here. You're going to see it again in the high tier in just a minute for brand new, but that's what you get. You get the remanufactured version or the authorized return version. Now, what makes this chair so good? Man, this is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. it's really grown on me. When I moved studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, these legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're gonna wanna stretch, you're gonna wanna move, and these chairs allow you to do that. Feel the freedom to do that, allow blood flow to work, allow you to change into different positions, sit however you wanna sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not gonna be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, you know, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember, but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a Steelcase Sleepy 2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, Steelcase Sleepy 2, excellent. Oh, and also, I don't think I mentioned this, but on the remanufactured and the authorized return, 12-year warranty, free returns on the entire chair. Excellent option versus paying $1,300 for a new one. So yeah, love to know your thoughts. Would you buy a used Steelcase Sleepy 2? Let me know in the comments. Next up is the open box Hayworth Zodi. This thing is about $700, and the reason why it's not here is because my editor is using it. Hey John, I'm gonna need that chair.
Huh? Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, is this chocolate?
Yeah. Could you just please not mess with the settings?
I'm totally gonna mess with the settings. Of all the chairs in the studio, he picked this one. That's how good this chair is. Now, this chair does get pretty low, so it's good for the short sitters. It's got cushion all around, making a great option for people who want to double tuck or single tuck inside of this chair. So this chair is a phenomenal option. A lot of people are saying, hey, the Hayworth Zodi is one of Hayworth's best chairs. They really like it. I like it as well. The lower back kind of hugs that lumbar a little bit. One of the big things to consider, though, is the seat gap. When you have it all the way out, you do feel a seat gap back here. So if you're someone on the short side who likes to fully, extend the seat so you can really curl up into it and you scooch back, you might feel a seat gap in your butt. But otherwise, the features, again, this is a knockout. It's got all the features, functions you could ever want. It's also got a forward tilt as well. And the forward tilt is pretty dramatic compared to all of Hayworth's other chairs so far. This thing tilts pretty far. It's got a great lean so that you're able to get close or play games really close to the screen and maintain a good posture. Helps you get out of the chair as well if you have knee issues like I do. Just a really phenomenal chair. The lumbar support feels great. Now, the open box Hayworth, again, I'm saying this a million times, but you gotta know, just so that, I wanna keep it honest here, Crandall Office only provides a 2-year warranty for their open box Hayworth chairs, and there are no returns allowed. It's considered a final sale. So you can either buy it open box from Crandall Office, or if you want to buy it new, it's going to be $1,200. So you're going to see this chair on the high tier list, but just wanted to keep that in mind. Next up, for around $700, is going to be a refurbished Aeron from Crandall Office. You can buy a refurbished Aeron from pretty much anywhere, but that word refurbished is used very lightly. A lot of people will say they're doing things to their chair that they really don't. They just replace the gas spring, and that's pretty much it. Crandall Office, they got you. They replace pretty much everything, make it really good condition. They do charge a little bit more, but they also offer a 12-year warranty and free returns on the chair if you don't like it. So that's one of the reasons why I recommend Crandall Office versus buying it off of some random warehouse dealer that says, hey, we give you warranty, but maybe you won't be able to find them. I don't really know what that means. So yeah, I'm just recommending a reputable company, but you can find these anywhere. For my short kings and queens out there, you really want to get a size A. These come in 3 sizes, A, B, and C. A is meant to be for the shorter folks. The one I have here is a B, and the one I have here is fully loaded. If you want to know whether it's a size A, B, or C, all you have to do is back here behind this, the backrest here, there's like an empty hole, and then the logo should be right here. It's being covered by the headrest, but back here you should be able to feel dots. 1 dot means A, 2 dots means B, and 3 dots means C. That's how you can tell the size of your chair. I'm not going to go into every single option, but the Herman Miller Aeron is the most famous chair probably in the world. I mean, this thing is famous for a reason. The mesh feels great. The mesh is a really high quality mesh. These things are tanks. They pretty much last forever. I think this one was made in like 91 or something, and this thing still feels really, really solid. If you want a deep dive into what to look for in a used Aeron, I've got a video on that. Just a really, really excellent chair. And again, if you go for Crandall Office, 12-year warranty on the entire chair and free returns if you end up not liking it. Some things to note is that there are going to be some mesh chairs in the high price tier that are going to be, I think, a little bit more modern compared to this older version. So a couple of things that have happened, that some philosophies around sitting that have improved. For example, on the newer Aerons, it's going to use a more waterfall front, so this thing is going to drop off a lot faster, and the reason why is because when you sit in it, a common complaint that people have about the Aeron is that it cuts off circulation because this seat is a little bit flatter. The newer remastered ones fall off earlier. It's called the waterfall edge, so they have that going on for them. And a chair like the Steelcase Carmen, which is an all-mesh chair, but that frame is totally flexible, so it allows you to move in the chair. The Herman Miller Aeron is notorious for being just a really rigid chair. It kind of forces you to sit one way, and that's the only way. It's not great for tucking because of these hard edges, bent up edges here that really kind of pinch that ankle. It's not great for sitting like that, not great for curling up in. So if you want a mesh chair that's got a little bit more of a modern take on how to sit best ergonomically, healthily, whatever, you might want to consider either the newer Aerons or the Steelcase Carmen, both of which you'll see in a later section. Coming in at about $800 to $1,000 is the Hayworth Fern. The Hayworth Fern is one of my top chair picks, and for my short kings and queens out there, I think it's a great option, especially if you like to curl or tuck up in your leg. If you're somebody even who likes to vanilla sit, these seats do go pretty low. So if you're a standard sitter like this, what I call vanilla sitting, you know, it goes pretty low, and it could be a decent, especially if you have a footrest. Now, these, brand new, can cost $1,200 and up. But again, Crandall Office, I talked about them before. In case you don't remember, I'll do the whole spiel again. Crandall Office sells used chairs. I really, really trust them. In a C, used chair dealers can be very, very shady. So finding Crandall Office has been a breath of fresh air because they have a solid reputation. Again, don't take my word for it. Go check online, go check Reddit. You know, great people. Anyways, so you can get an open box Hayworth Fern in the regular mesh back. This is the regular mesh back here. Ignore the headrest. You know, this is not for you, unfortunately, because you probably won't reach it. It won't be very comfortable. Anyways, this is the mesh back, and the mesh back is the most breathable, but it's still pretty cushy. But overall, the digital knit back, this kind of like bumpy, it's not bumpy, but you know, it's like a knitted and it's got a lot more cushion. This back is my favorite back. It's much more comfortable on your back. It provides more cush, but if you want maximum breathability, the regular mesh could be fine. The open box from Hayworth is this mesh is going to be $800, and the digital knit can be about $1,000. So that's why they're in this price tag. Again, a couple caveats getting an open box from Hayworth is that you're only going to get a 2-year warranty and 0 returns because it's final sale. However, if you were to buy it directly from Hayworth, you would get a 12-year warranty and free returns, but it is going to be significantly more expensive. The digital knit version, I think, starts at like $1,400, and then this would start at about $1,200. So you are paying quite a premium to get them new and for that warranty and return policy. Reasons I love it is the seat cushion is solid. It's got a waterfall front, which means that when you sit in it, your legs aren't going to be pinching right here. It's going to be able to provide, you know, extra, like, blood flow, so it's not getting pinched, not getting squeezed by anything. The armrests are phenomenal. They go super low. Look at this, like super out of the way, great for tucking into a desk. You know, I know that can be really challenging to find. It's got additional extra lumbar support if you want it. I personally like a little bit more aggressive lumbar, so I really like it. You might not, so you can save some money and not get that version. It's also got that forward tilt we talked about with the Hayworth Soji. So again, if I were to go like this, forward tilt, great for getting close and keeping good posture while you're at it, compared to a flat seat where you might end up being prone to hunching like this. In terms of features and functionality, it's phenomenal. It's great all around, highly adjustable chair. The one difference, these here, and I'll just explain it in case you're curious. This one here is a special edition. It's the Xbox edition, which is why it's got this Xbox logo back here. And then this is the Halo edition, which is why it's got this Halo logo stuff back here, the Master Chief Damn it, I'm gonna get made fun of again. Master Chief Sergeant, it's there somewhere. I can't read it right now. All right, don't judge me, okay? But these come the way they are like this in the color scheme. The seats are made out of genuine leather. The headrest, this headrest is terrible. Again, I don't know why you'd be buying a headrest at this height, but these headrests are terrible. But if you buy these versions, the headrest comes with it. Why am I saying all this? I'm gonna bring out the Haworth Fern again in the high tier, so we'll talk about it then. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to explain it while it's here. This is the best chair to pair with standing desks. It's called the Haworth Zodi Upholstered. You can buy it open box from Crandall Office for $900, or you can buy it brand new from Haworth for $1,200. And again, for that $300 savings with Crandall Office, you're getting a 2-year warranty and no returns, whereas if you go directly with Haworth, you get it for 12-year warranty and free returns. Now, the reason why this is so good for standing desks, not only does it have all the functionality and features that you could ever want in a chair, but it's also got something called the perch mode. What this means is that if you were to go ahead and raise the chair up all this way, what you could do is you could tilt back, and then if you tilt, this is the forward tilt here like this, but in this raised up mode, it actually tilts even more far forward as you go forward into the chair. This allows you to work at a standing desk and then kind of be able to just gently back down, and you don't need to be very tall for this, right? So you're able to just kind of stand up and quickly get down and just kind of do this for a little bit, and because your feet are planted into the ground, you're not slouching, it's easy to sit like this. It makes it a really good, quick sit to stand on a standing desk. Really excellent option. Don't let the pink color fool you. I wanted something that popped on camera. I thought my wife wanted to keep this chair, and she does. I just never brought it home. Sorry, honey. But so it is a great chair. It comes in different color variants. Again, don't let the pink color fool you if you want a good chair for standing desks. The seat cushion is dense, feels really good. Backrest feels good, highly adjustable, lumbar support. Arms adjust every which way. It's a really, really good chair. Next up for the short kings and queens is the Herman Miller Sail. I just sat on this and I remember it's one of the lowest chairs on this list. It goes really, really low. It is a phenomenal chair. It's arguably the best looking chair on this list as well. Every time I go into a high-end office or an artsy-fartsy place, I always see these chairs there. It's an excellent option. Seat cushion is phenomenal, right? When the Herman Miller Vantum came out and I tested that, I said, look, these things are about the same price. Who would ever buy the Vantum when the sale exists? This seat cushion is just superior in so many ways, and so is this backrest. Feels really, really, really great. Huge fan of it. It's also got the forward tilt option. This, by the way, is a gaming version. There's gaming versions and non-gaming versions. They're essentially the same, but yeah, this one also has a forward tilt. I think I activated it. I can't remember. Yeah, there you go. It's got a forward tilt as well, so if you're looking forward, man, this is a really small chair. This is great for my short folks out there, but yeah, it's got a forward tilt, allowing you to really get close, really to see over things if you need to, while maintaining a healthy posture. This holy back here, this is rubbery. It's a softer rubber, and so you're not going to feel any kind of digging into your back at all. Just a really, really great chair. Great for tucking, single tucking, double tucking, whatever you want to do in this chair. Armrests feel pretty padded as well. Just a really, really great chair. 12-year warranty from Herman Miller. It has a great track record of customer service. And unfortunately, I don't think Herman Miller does free returns anymore. And I don't know if they do free shipping either. So those are things that have gone away from Herman Miller because I think so many people abuse the system. So something to keep in mind if you decide to pick up this chair. Short kings and queens, I'm Rich Biatch. The first chair in the high end for my short kings and queens is the best chair to pair with standing desks. It's called the Haworth Zodi Upholstered. You guys saw this in the mid-tier and the open box version. This is gonna be the new version. It costs $1,200 from Haworth, but for that you're getting free returns and a 12-year warranty on the entire chair. Now, the reason why this is so good for standing desks, not only does it have all the functionality and features that you could ever want in a chair, but it's also got something called the perch mode. What this means is that if you were to go ahead and raise the chair up all this way, what you could do is you could tilt back, and then if you tilt, this is the forward tilt here like this, but in this raised up mode, it actually tilts even more far forward as you go forward into the chair. This allows you to work at a standing desk and then kind of be able to just gently back down, and you don't need to be very tall for this, right? So you're able to just kind of stand up and quickly get down and just kind of do this for a little bit, and because your feet are planted into the ground, you're not slouching, it's easy to sit like this. It makes it a really good, quick sit to stand on a standing desk. Really excellent option. Don't let the pink color fool you. I wanted something that popped on camera. I thought my wife wanted to keep this chair, and she does. I just never brought it home. Sorry, honey. But so it is a great chair. It comes in different color variants. Again, don't let the pink color fool you if you want a good chair for standing desks. The seat cushion is dense, feels really good. Backrest feels good, highly adjustable, lumbar support. Arms adjust every which way. It's a really, really good chair. For the short kings and queens out there, I have another mesh option for you. This is my favorite mesh chair to date. This is the Steelcase Carmen regular back. You can, if you're 5'4", like you're getting into that taller end of this, you can get a tall back version, which I have back there. It's that white chair on that light. But for the most people, I think this back is going to be tall enough. This is the regular back Steelcase Carmen. This comes in at about $1,130. You get a 12-year warranty on the entire chair, free returns, and what makes this mesh chair so great is that the mesh is more of like a fabric-y mesh, so not rough, not plasticky at all, like on the Aeron and every other budget mesh chair. So it feels really great, but the biggest draw of this chair is that it's super duper flexible and it moves with you both in the seat as well as in the backrest. This is huge because compared to the Herman Miller Aeron, which is stiff, kind of keeps you in this position all day, this one allows you to kind of move and bend and sit in different ways throughout the day, and it's just going to move with you. A lot of people are like, why would I want that in a chair? Am I doing freaking yoga or something? No, it's not that. Again, it just helps with blood flow, helps you maintain energy and alertness throughout the day, and it's just really, really great. I mean, it's crazy how much this thing moves with you. It's crazy how much you can ask of it, and it'll do pretty much everything you want. You can even single tuck and double tuck in this chair, which I don't think any other mesh chair you can do that in. So again, phenomenal for so many reasons. Next up for my short folks in the high end is going to be the Haworth Fern. This has already made an appearance, but now this is the brand new version. You can get the mesh version as low as like $1,100 to $1,200, and then you can get a digital knit back, not this version, but one with this kind of back for around $1,300. And then these special editions, I think this one's going to be like $1,400 and this is $1,500. If you want to get the special edition, this is the Xbox version and this is the Halo version. Halo version. Why people would want to get these two versions? It's because you can get the seat in genuine leather. So if you're somebody who likes leather because you're kinky, you can do that, right? And it's also got this Xbox version. In my humble opinion, the Xbox gaming is the best bang for buck. You get a real leather seat, and then you also get the digital knit back. And also in my testing, for some reason, the gaming version, this Xbox version, when I pulled the seat pan all the way out, it was the only seat pan where I couldn't feel any kind of seat gap fully extended. I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's a quality control thing, but it's the only one where I couldn't feel that. So because of that, this Xbox Fern is my favorite overall value. I think it's great. I love the Fern though in general. I really, really like it. Don't get a headrest version. These gaming ones unfortunately come with it, so you're paying for it if you want to get these special versions. But if you don't, just get a digital knit version. That's my favorite back of all of them, a little bit more cushioned. But since you're getting it directly from Haworth, you're getting a 12-year warranty and free returns. Strongly recommend. Next up is the Steelcase Leap V2, new from Steelcase. It costs $1,300 and you get a 12-year warranty and free returns. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me and I'm really, really enjoying it. This is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. It's really grown on me. When I moved studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, there's legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Haworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're going to want to stretch. You're going to want to move, and these chairs allow you to do that. Feel the freedom to do that. Allow blood flow to work. Allow you to change into different positions. Sit however you want to sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not going to be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember, but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a Steelcase Sleep V2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, Steelcase Sleep V2, excellent. Next up is the Human Scale Freedom, without a headrest. You can actually get a headrest. I'll talk about that in just a minute. I think without a headrest, it's around $1,100. With the headrest, it's about $1,300. This one also has an upgraded seat, which I strongly recommend. It is a very comfortable seat. And I made a video about this. If you decide to pick it up, you gotta watch it because there's a hidden adjustment that will make or break your experience with this chair. Anyways, the Human Scale Freedom. I love this chair so much. It's a new chair on this list. I think the recline on it, I used to own this chair way back when, and I didn't know the secret adjustment to tighten the recline, and I hated it. It felt like it was breaking my back, but now that I fixed it, I love it. As a matter of fact, one of my guys here is using it. He stole it from me, and he's using it. He's about 6'1", but this chair goes super low, and one thing you're probably noticing is look at those arms. Look how low these things go, so they can fit into any desk. It's probably the lowest going arms besides the raising up ones on the Staples Serena you saw earlier. It is a phenomenal chair. It feels really good. It's got that weight activated recline, and I've tightened it a lot because I don't like reclining in the chair, and you can see that I'm barely reclining in this thing. Feels really, really supportive. It has a ton of adjustments as well. The seat pan is really, really big and wide, and you can also pull it out if you're somebody who likes to go ahead and, double or single tuck inside of this. Again, this upgraded seat cushion feels so good. It's like, oh man, I really like this a lot. The arms are able to come up. Unfortunately, you can't adjust each one individually, but these come up like this. And you can also raise the backrest up if you find that it's not hitting your back in the right place. Now, when it comes to this headrest, again, it's an optional add-on, but you can see I'm 5'6", and when I lower it all the way, you can see that it's too low even for me. So I'm gonna say that this headrest probably starts to become usable at around 5'2". So I think as low as 5'2", 5'3", you can actually get the headrest version and use it. And what's so great is that as you lean down, the headrest kind of comes up a little bit, catching your head, and it makes a really pleasant experience. It almost feels like luxury. Like, those chairs that you see in the movies where it's like, and the head just like kind of automatically comes up. That's what it feels like. It kind of like comes up to catch your head, so you don't really need to move your head back to lean on it. Just a really cool experience. Now, Human Scale offers a 15-year warranty on their chairs, but there are like weird kinds of exceptions. The fabric has a 5-year warranty. There's a bunch of exceptions there. And then returns, the returns policy was confusing. They said some of it is subject to like a 15 to 20% restocking fee. I don't really know, so it's something you might want to look into before going through with the return. So these are things that you want to consider. But for my short kings and queens, this is an excellent high-tier chair. One last thing is that this has a weight-activated recline. So it's going to, as much pressure as you put on it, it's going to push back. Again, you can tighten it so it takes a lot more pressure to lean back. So it's a really simplified chair as well. So if you like a simple experience, very cushy, very comfortable, arms go low, this might be the chair for you. Next up is the Herman Miller Mira 2. I'm going to strongly recommend that you get the butterfly suspension back. What this does is you see this like little layer here, this darker layer, you put that there. Otherwise, you would have just the plasticky thing that's back here exposed. This thing for me was critical because I sat in one of these without this butterfly knit here, and the plastic just felt like it was digging into my back. So I do recommend you get this version. Really like this chair a lot. Again, this is another chair that you see in a lot of high-end offices, designer, artsy-fartsy places. Looks like a butterfly, so it's kind of called, I don't know why it's called the Mira 2, but that's why they call it butterfly suspension back, I assume, right? Arms go super low. Arms are designed in kind of this funny-looking way. You can adjust the arms by doing this, raising it, goes up really, really high as well. It's another mesh option for you guys out there. It's definitely a stiffer mesh, but you definitely get a lot more movement compared to the Herman Miller Aeron. Some cool things about it is you still get that forward tilt inside of your chair. So again, if I were to go like this, I can forward tilt, my feet are planted into the ground, allows me to open up that back, get it straight for if I'm doing something over my desk, if I'm playing games and I want to get close to the screen, helps you keep that proper posture. But one of the coolest things about this chair is the fact that this seat pan here, you can either push it down so that it has that waterfall edge, or if you want a little bit more seat depth, you can go ahead and pull it up like this, and it gives you that edge. I'm not sure if you caught that, but here it's like this, and then you can go ahead and lift it up like that, giving you extra seat depth because it doesn't have seat depth control. Overall, I think this chair is really cool, really fancy looking, definitely very airy chair, keeps you nice and cool. All your booty juices will pass right through it. Again, unpleasant for others, but great for your chair. Not going to sustain it with anything, So 12-year warranty from Herman Miller, excellent customer service. Not free returns anymore. There is a shipping fee and a return fee, I think, because a lot of people have been abusing it because Herman Miller, biggest chair manufacturer in the world. Solid chair. Coming in at $1,800 is going to be the Herman Miller Aeron Remastered Size A. Just to take a recap, how do you figure out the size? Back here where the back frame is, there's going to be this gap. If you put your finger right in the middle, this headrest is blocking it, but if you put your finger in the middle here, you should feel dots. 1 dot is a size A, 2 dots is a size B, and 3 dots is a size C. This one here is a B, but for the short folks, you probably want to get a size A. Now, the reason why you might want to get a remastered, it's $1,800 over a used Aeron, is because they do have some design language that's been updated for like the 21st century. The biggest one being this waterfall seat edge. This waterfall edge basically means that the front will dip down faster, and what this prevents is your thigh from like clogging and pinching, so that your legs don't fall asleep, so that your butt isn't falling asleep. So it's got that updated design language on the chair. So it's one of the reasons why you might want to consider a remastered over the older, like 30-year-old used Aerons out there, the classic Aerons, what they call them. Aeron, most famous chair in the world, the Herman Miller Aeron, sells like pancakes because it's great. I mean, the mesh is fantastic. It feels really good. You feel healthy while sitting in it. The downsides are that compared to more modern chairs, modern philosophies of sitting and healthy sitting, it's not really bendable. It doesn't really adjust to you. It's pretty stiff, and so if you decide to sit like this, it's not super duper comfortable. You've got these hard edges jabbing into your sides. You know, you've got these hard edges, so you can't really like single tuck or double tuck. I'm not saying single tuck or double tuck is healthy. I'm just saying as you move throughout the day, it's not able to move alongside you. However, Herman Miller offers a 12-year warranty for their chairs. They don't do free returns and free shipping anymore. I think too many people have abused that system, with Herman Miller being the biggest manufacturer in the world, or chair manufacturer in the world, and so they got rid of those things. But overall, Herman Miller Aeron, I don't need to defend it. I mean, this is a phenomenal chair, and most of the world agrees. Don't get the headrest, though. Don't get the headrest. You won't be able to reach it, so yeah, don't get the headrest version. Final chair for my short kings and queens out there is the Herman Miller Embody. Over here we have the non-gaming version, and over here we have the gaming version. Each of these come in different color variants as well. The headrest, ignore them. You probably won't be able to reach them unless you're 5'4". Then you might want to consider it. More on that in just a second. But I did a deep, in-depth comparison of the non-gaming versus gaming, and I personally prefer the gaming version, primarily because over here in the lumbar support, there is this plastic thing that kind of juts out, and on the non-gaming version, there's almost no padding on there. But with the gaming version, you do get a little bit more cushion between you and that pad. And so for me personally, I found that to be a lot nicer, a lot more of a pleasant experience. Now, these Embodies are my favorite chair now at this point. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite chair. And the reason why is because, I mean, it just kind of changed the framework for me of what a chair could be. So these things are designed in such a way that it kind of has a mesh-like feel, but with cushion, because the plastic pixel material that they use is like a really bendy, really kind of moves with you material. Now, it does create sometimes some squeaks and stuff, but man, I am just loving the way that it feels. I don't know how to say it. Like, it bends and it moves with you. Let me turn like this so you can see. It bends and it moves and it turns with you. It really is just a phenomenal experience inside of this chair, and I love it. I really, really do love it. In terms of adjustments, they're different than typical chair adjustments. So you've got your typical seat tilt tension, your up and down, but then the backrest is a little bit confusing because there is no real lumbar adjustment. Instead, you get like a back tension is the best way I could call it. So if you loosen it, I'll loosen it like this, and you can see that the backrest is kind of like loosening a little bit, and when you lean back in it, it actually like flexes easier. But then when you roll it tighter, it actually kind of like curves in a little bit more and becomes a little stiffer, and it still bends and flexes, but not nearly as much. So it's just a totally different kind of adjustment here. The arms are kind of a love it or hate it, right? They don't really adjust, the arms themselves, these arm pads themselves don't adjust. Instead, they go out like this, and they go up and down like that as well. So yeah, it's just a different type of adjustment here. Overall, I really, really love this chair. 12-year warranty. Shipping and returns are not free anymore from Herman Miller, something that you want to keep in mind. Oh, last one, headrest. If you're 5'3", 5'4", this headrest could work because the way, and these are not from Herman Miller, even though they look totally OEM. These are made from ANY Headrest. There's another company out there, which shall not be named. They make a headrest. I dunked on their headrest, and they got mad, and they put a rebuttal video out, and a lot of people were like, look, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, why? Dan's right. A lot of people said that, right? But I don't know. I don't know why they took shots at me like that. But anyways, I think ANY Headrest is the superior headrest. It does cost a little bit more, something to keep in mind. This headrest is able to, as you can see, it actually goes into the chair, quite a bit so that for someone like me who's 5'6", you can see that it ends on my shoulders. So this is what I mean by, like, if you're 5'3", 5'4", you could probably actually fit into this headrest pretty well. So something to keep in mind for the short kings and queens out there, you could get a headrest if you wanted, put it really low, and it does provide that headrest support without feeling like you're jutting out, your shoulders are jutting out. Really good experience. For my beautiful, perfectly average people, congratulations, you are perfectly average. And based on Google's AI, there are great benefits to being average. Lower expectations. People don't expect much from you, so it's easier to keep your job. You have more friends. You can hang out with more people because most of the world is average. And also, you'll have a happier life. People have lower expectations towards you, so you tend to live a happier life. But the best benefit of all is that every chair on this list will fit you, you unremarkable person you, because every company has designed chairs with your height in mind. If you are on the lower end of this height range, 5'4" to 5'7"-ish, you could even benefit from getting a footrest. The one I have here is the Kensington. This is my personal favorite. I've done an entire video guide on footrests. If you want to check it out, that link to the video will be in the spreadsheet. And this is my favorite here, the Kensington. It's also a nice little fidgeting tool, so throughout the day, you've got something to do to kind of keep you awake and get that blood flow going. Average height, budget tier. For the average height, again, the best chair under $100 based on my testing is going to be the Amazon Basics chair. This has the best seat cushion of all the $100 chairs, under $100 chairs that I've tested. It doesn't have any weird feelings, no hard bottoms. It's got a thicker cushion. The backrest is also pretty good as well. You can spread open that chest. You're not really going to bump into anything hard. And the armrests are pretty well cushioned too. It's got extremely basic adjustments. It can pretty much go lock the backrest, and that's pretty much it. If you are someone who is a serious sitter, you sit all day at a time, this is probably not the chair for you because this cushion will wear out over time, and this PU leather, this fake leather here is pretty cheap, and it's probably going to crack pretty quickly. If you are someone who sits all day long, I strongly recommend you increase your budget to some of the next chairs we're going to see. If you're outside of the United States, I know, and I've gotten many comments about how difficult it is to find a good chair, especially one that's on this list and these kinds of lists. The Sihu M18 I know for sure is available overseas, and it's one of my top picks at about $150. I think this chair is really good. The headrest is solid. Just keep in mind that it goes pretty short. It's not super tall, so if you're above 5'10", you're probably gonna have to go without a headrest. It won't fit you right. The seat depth is also pretty deep, and so if you're in that 5'4" to 5'5" range, unless you're a double tucker, maybe avoid this one because of the seat depth. But overall, I really like this seat cushion. It's like dense. It's different from every other seat cushion on this list. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. It's just a really dense cushion, but it feels soft. In terms of functionality, it's pretty basic. The lumbar support, I really do like it on this chair. That's why it's one of my top picks under 200. It's also available in the United States as well, so it could be a solid option for you. These next couple chairs for my average height folks are gonna be from Staples. If you're in the United States or you have a Staples nearby, these next chairs are gonna be for you. Staples, at least here in the United States, has a pretty good warranty of 7 years. It's actually really good, but the best part is, based on my research, their customer support and service behind their chairs is actually really good as well. And so that's why I'm easily able to recommend these. They don't use the best materials, they don't use the best cushions all the time, although these chairs are pretty good. But if something happens to it, you've got that customer support, service, warranty behind it to be able to get it replaced or fixed or whatever needs to be done. So the first pick is going to be this Staples Serena here. This is about $150. In my testing of best chairs under $200 from Staples, this one definitely came on top. The cushion is great. When you sit into it, it's really thick, really dense. This little like fabric-y part here is really nice as well. You're able to sink into it. The backrest is soft all around. Great for single tuckers, double tuckers, all around. But the thing that makes this chair special compared to every chair on this list are going to be these armrests. These things are able to go up and out of the way. So if you're a guitar player, if you're someone who just can't get under the desk without the arms banging into something, this was the best armrest swiveling chair I've ever tested. A lot of them, the armrests just don't go up far enough, and so when you try to relax in the chair, your triceps end up banging into the arms that are still kind of sticking forward. So again, the Serena is really unique. Not only do the armrests go up, but the chair is pretty comfortable overall. Next up are Staples mesh chair options. There are two that are extremely popular. The Staples Hyken, which is not pictured here. My son, my 7-year-old son at home, loves the chair. He's using it. You have to be a little bit bigger than he is to use it, but he likes it. And the other one is the Staples Dexly. This one I tried this past year. I really like the Dexly. I like it over the Hyken. I think the Dexly has really solid mesh. Again, it's a cheaper mesh chair, and the backrest is nice. This headrest is also really great. It's huge, it's curved. The mesh is not the best mesh in the world, but again, with Staples, with their 7-year warranty, good customer service, normally on these kind of budget mesh chairs, I wouldn't recommend over 150 pounds, but because of what I read about Staples customer service, I'm like, dude, sit out of this chair, you know, like go crazy on this chair, weigh whatever you want, and then claim it in warranty or get it replaced if it ever tears or rips or sags on you. The lumbar support on the Dexly, phenomenal. The Hyken is also not too bad either. I think the Dexly actually feels a little bit more open compared to the Hyken. Both of these are gonna be pretty plastic chairs. Again, these are sub $200 chairs. Now, both of these chairs go on sale all the time. They can range anywhere between $100 to like $180. So something to keep your eyes on. Again, when there are sales, I'll post them in the spreadsheet. That's gonna be linked in the description as well as in the pinned comment. It's great for people who are particularly gassy because those booty juices will just kind of flow right through the chair, surprising everyone else, but it won't stain your chair. Coming in at $180 is the Staples Carter, or as Jackie Chan likes to say, Carter! This chair was my #1 pick under $200 from Staples because the seat cushion is fantastic, it's really thick, but most importantly, the amount of adjustments on this thing are crazy. If you're on the shorter end at about 5'4", you might like the backrest the way it is. However, if you find yourself taller on that list, this backrest is actually adjustable. You can raise it up and then you can go ahead and lock it in that position. Not only that, but you also get a ton more adjustments when it comes to the backrest as well as the tilt. See, the backrest here is loose like this. The bottom isn't moving, it's just the backrest. I can actually lock it in any position that I want. So if you're someone who likes to sit upright, you can lock it like this. If you're someone who likes to actually lean back a little bit in your chair, you can have it like that as well. Really great, but then you also get a tilt adjustment. So the tilt adjustment allows you to lock, or your tilt lock, allows you to tilt in the chair, and then you can lock it in that position if you're ever lounging, and coupled together, you can actually have the chair pretty far back so that you can lounge and do what you need to do. Again, with a 7-year warranty, excellent customer service, you can sit the hell out of this thing and probably get another one in a couple years if it ever breaks down on you. Next up for the average height folks is the Clatina Mellet. This thing comes in at $250, and compared to every chair we've seen on this list so far, this thing is a standout in terms of adjustments, features, and just cushions, both in the seat cushion as well as in the headrest. So this headrest does go pretty low, and so I think it can fit everyone in that 5'4" all the way to 6'2" range. The seat cushion is really dense. It's pretty soft. I'd call it like a medium soft cushion as well. The biggest standout feature about this chair is going to be the recline. This chair reclines reminiscent of the Steelcase Leap V2. That is a $1,300 chair. When you recline in this chair, the seat actually comes forward just a tiny bit, and it makes reclining just really pleasant inside of this chair. The lumbar support isn't too offensive either. You can adjust it up or down just slightly, not too much, but just a little bit. And then you also got, I think I mentioned this before, but the seat depth can come out. Something to keep in mind though is that as you get taller on this list, I'm 5'6" and I fit this chair beautifully, but I think as you start to climb, get to 5'10" and above, you're probably gonna need this seat pan out. And as you get to 5'10" and above, what it's gonna do is it's gonna create a significant seat gap in the back here, and you can feel this pretty easily. So if you're someone with longer legs, if you're someone who likes to have the seat all the way out and you like sitting scooched back in your chair, this might not be the best pick because of that hanging booty. The next chair on this list might be a better fit. Coming in at $280 is the Kolami Atlas for my average height folks out there. Again, this thing is a cut above compared to all the chairs under $200. This seat cushion is even better in my humble opinion than the Clatina Mellet I just talked about. It's really cushy when you sit on it. There's like a bounce to it. It's really nice. The adjustments are just as good compared to the Clatina Mellet as well. I think the big standouts though are going to be, by the way, in my individual review of this chair, I was wrong about 2 things. I was wrong. This seat cushion, the seat depth control, you can lock it in place. You have to actually push this button in and it's gonna lock that seat depth so it doesn't move. And also the headrest is adjustable. It was just really stiff. but as you can see, I can move it in and out. So while we're at the headrest, we'll talk about this. This thing can be adjusted up and down. It can swivel, and you can adjust the depth, I guess, of it, which makes it really nice, especially for a chair under like $500. This is a phenomenal headrest for that price. It's also pretty smooth as well. But one thing I didn't talk about, especially as you get taller on the list, is that when you put the seat pan all the way out, you will not feel any kind of gap on your butt. It is phenomenal. It's really, really great. The adjustments, these arms are 4D arms. Just for the amount of adjustments and controls you get for a chair at this price, I strongly recommend. The only con is that this lumbar support, and it's really hard. And so because of that, some people have noted that they'll go to the department store, fabric store, get some foam, put it back there, and that should relieve a lot of that pain you're feeling from that hard plastic piece. Next up is the Branch ergonomic chair. Coming in at $330, this thing has just as many features and adjustments as the previous two. I really like the seat cushion. It's nice and thick. I really like the backrest as well. It's mesh, but it's got this foam layer here that makes it extra cushy on that backrest. And then the lumbar support, you can adjust it up and down. But unlike the previous chair, the Kalami Atlas, this one does have a foam pad on it so that when you sit on it, it's not digging into your lower back. Now, the armrest can adjust in and out. They can also go forward and back as well. The big standout, again, is going to be this seat depth control. Compared to the Clatina Mellet, this thing, when you pull out the seat pan all the way, you're not going to feel any kind of gap on your back butt area. So there's no gap whatsoever. This chair does have a headrest option. I did not choose to get that. However, so because of that, I can't speak on it, but it does have a headrest if you're someone who needs a headrest for their chair. The reason why the Branch ergonomic chair is on this list, even though it's got features and adjustments similar to the previous, are going to be the fact that it has a 7-year warranty. Those other two chairs, I really don't know what their warranties are. They're kind of from some unknown companies. Branch is a company that's partnered with people like West Elm and things like that, and so it's got a little bit more of a reputation to it. I can't speak on it. I've never used their customer service, but it does have a 7-year warranty if that's something that's important to you. A lot of you are going to ask, what about the Branch Ergonomic Pro? I actually have it over there. It's buried in chairs, so I can't access it right now. I have tested it. I have a review coming up for it. Unfortunately, the Branch Ergonomic Pro, in my humble opinion, is not worth it. Everything about the chair is great. Everything about the chair is an upgrade, minus the seat. The seat bottoms out really hard. My editor confirmed I'm not crazy. We're not very heavy. I'm like 167 pounds. He's like 150 on a good day. I mean, he's pretty lightweight, and even he could feel the bottom instantly in that chair, which for us is a big deal breaker. So for all those who wanted to know, the Branch Ergonomic is the way to go. Save your money, don't get the Pro. The final chair on this budget tier is going to be the open box Haworth Soji. My friends over at Crandall Office just got the green light to sell open box chairs from Haworth. If you don't know about Crandall Office, you can look them up yourself. They have an excellent reputation, really, really strong name. I've worked with them on a couple of videos, really experts in the field. Nothing sponsored, so this video isn't sponsored at all. I just really like them. Finding a partner in the used chair business is really difficult because a lot of them use shady practices. Crandall Office, for me, has been a standout because of that. They've been really, really great. Anyways, the Haworth Soji. This is a phenomenal chair, my favorite pick on this list. The seat cushion is phenomenal. It feels really soft, really supportive. Don't feel the bottom on this thing. The backrest is really inoffensive. Now, it's rough to the touch, so if you're not wearing a shirt, it could be an issue. But if you are wearing clothes, then you should be totally fine. It's a weird sentence to say when we talk about chairs. But hey, if it's in your home, you sit however you feel like, okay? And so this lumbar support is nice, really easily adjustable, easy to reach, provides nice support. The big standout feature, in addition to, you got the arms that adjust really nicely as well, 4D arms and all that. But the big standout feature here, and this is an optional upgrade, so you want to look out for it if this is what you want, is going to be the forward tilt. The forward tilt, basically what you do is you lean back a little bit, you hit this button here, and then you tilt forward. And what that's going to do is going to tilt your seat pan forward. And the reason why you might want this is for people who like gaming, either leaned up like this, or you're somebody who's doing something at your desk and you need to get a little bit closer. And what this does is that if you were in a typical seated position, you might end up, to get there, you might end up hunching your back like crazy, hunching your back when playing games. But this seat tilt, what it does is it allows your feet to dig into the ground, which allows you to easily raise that back up to sit in proper posture while doing the things that you need to do. Some people have also noted that if you're older, if you have back or leg problems, having a forward tilt can also help you get out of your chair as well. There are going to be a number of chairs on this list, particularly from Haworth and Herman Miller, that have the forward tilt. So if that's something important to you, there are a lot of chairs coming up with that. Now here is an important note, because I'm always going to keep it honest here. Crandall Office sells remanufactured and authorized returns. Authorized returns are like open box. They sell these chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and now Hayworth. However, with Herman Miller and with Steelcase, they're able to offer a 12-year warranty on the entire chair as well as free returns. However, on their Hayworth chairs, these things are considered final sale, so there are no returns, and they offer a 2-year warranty compared to a 12-year warranty. This thing, if you bought it new, costs $600, and you will get a 12-year warranty on the entire chair from Hayworth. So you have to determine, is that a trade-off you're willing to make in order to buy a good chair at a much, like a 35% discount? I'd love to know your thoughts. Average height, mid-tier. For the average height folks, the first chair in that mid-tier price range is going to be the Hayworth Breck. This thing costs $420, and it is one of my favorite chairs. I keep going back to it. I reviewed it recently and I keep grabbing it. Something about this seat cushion is just really nice. It's not very thick, but for some reason, I don't know what it is, man, but I sit in it and it just fits me perfectly. This backrest, I love it. It's got holes, nice and breathable, and it's using like a harder rubbery plastic here, but it's inoffensive. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't bother me at all. I love that when you push down in the arms, you get a little lower back support, extra lower back support. When you seat pan it out, for those who double tuck, single tuck, want to curl up in the chair, you don't feel any gap in that back at all. It's got phenomenal arms, 4D arms here, just a really, really solid chair. And with a 12-year warranty, under $500, you can't go wrong with the Breck. Really like this chair, highly recommend it. Next chair on the list is the Steelcase Amiya. There are going to be 3 ways that you can buy this chair at 3 different price points, so bear with me for a second. The first 2 are going to be from a company called Crandall Office. If you've been watching this video, I've explained who they are, but just in case you haven't, these guys sell used chairs, and in the used chair business, there are a lot of shady companies, a lot of shady people out there. Crandall Office is one of the very few that I trust. They have an excellent reputation on Reddit, all over the internet, so don't take my word for it. This video is not sponsored. I just really like those guys. So 3 different ways you can buy it. The first one, coming in at $520, is a remanufactured Steelcase Amiya. Remanufactured from Crandall Office basically means they found old Amiyas, they took it and they put it through their deep refurbishing process. They changed out all the covers, they deep cleansed it, they sanitized it, they do it's like they got a huge steamer that cleans and sanitizes the chair. Really, really awesome stuff. That comes in at $520, and you get a 12-year warranty on the entire chair and free returns. Then the next step up at $800 is an authorized return Amiya from Crandall Office. Authorized returns basically means somebody bought an Amiya, decided, hey, I don't like it, they returned it back to Steelcase. Crandall Office goes and picks those up, and then they sell it, and Crandall Office offers a 12-year warranty on the entire chair, as well as free returns. So another excellent option. It's pretty much like new. And then you have the brand new option. You can get it directly from Steelcase for about $1,000. And if you do that, you get 12-year warranty directly from Steelcase, as well as free returns to Steelcase as well. So those are your 3 buying options. I love this chair. It is a sleeper chair. A lot of people, when they come to my studio, they love checking out, these super expensive, cool looking chairs. This one always gets ignored. So I always have to say, hey, what do you think about that orange one? It stands out, the color I got, it really stands out. And they sit on it and it's always the same reaction. Oh, because nobody expects this chair to be as comfortable as it is. The seat cushion is phenomenal. The backrest is great. The build quality on this, I think, is, Steelcase is one of the best, I think, build quality of chairs. It just feels really rigid, nothing really crazy or creaking in this chair. Pro tip, if you're somebody who's worried about bottoming out on the seat cushion, some people have talked about this. I personally never experienced it. I'm about 170 pounds. Never experienced the bottoming out, but if you are, on the remanufactured Amiya from Crandall Office, they give you an option to provide a thicker seat cushion. It's essentially the same seat cushion in the same shape, just thicker. And a lot of people have praised the seat cushion, saying they love it so much. So if that's something that you want to make sure that the seat cushion never bottoms out on you, you can choose that as an option. Like I promised, the Hayworth Soji shows its face again. This is the brand new Hayworth Soji, starting at $575, goes up to about $600, especially if you want that forward tilt that I talked about in the previous section. But just in case you haven't, let me break it down. The seat cushion is excellent here. This backrest, a little scratchy, but if you're wearing clothes, not a big deal. Lumbar support is great. This chair, one of the big standout features is going to be the forward tilt. If you don't know what forward tilt is, if you push this button and kind of tilt your seat pan forward, it tilts forward and you're able to dig your feet into the ground. What this means for you is that if you're someone who needs to get close to your desk, who needs to get close to your screen if you're gaming or whatever it might be, this, because your feet are planted into the ground, it allows you to open that back, have a good posture while you're leaning forward. If your seat is flat, like on most chairs, you're probably going to end up hunching like this. So instead of doing that, this is a great option for you to have your feet really planted in the ground, get that proper posture. 12-year warranty, free returns. The Hayward Soji is one of the best. If you're average height and you're looking for a racing style gaming chair, these are the 3 that I've kind of tested and kind of like the most. Let's start from the Titan Evo 2022. This one starts at $550, and if you want to go for the XL size, which the top tier of this height range, like 6'1", 6'2", you'd probably be better off getting the XL. But anyways, if you want to get the XL version, that's going to be $600. The Titan Evo 2022 is here because I constantly get comments. It's probably a lesser percentage of the population, but some people really love this chair. I personally think the seat cushion is just too firm for me personally, but I do like the idea that you can lean all the way back in a racing style gaming chair, and the stitching wise on the Secret Lab is top tier. I don't think anyone does it as good as Secret Lab, and so because of that, this is on this list. If you want a sizing guide, I've done a sizing guide video before. Although it's with women, it can still be informative for you if you're a guy, because height is height, right? I mean, I know different body things change a little bit, but that's at least a guide for you to start. I've done 2 with guys as well, but that was only with the small and the regular size, so something to keep in mind. I personally, if you want a racing style gaming chair, like an official racing style gaming chair kind of thing, I personally picked the Ahnestly Kaiser 3. I know the 4 is out. I've compared the 3 and the 4 in a previous video. I still think the 3 is probably the better chair. It just has a less offensive armrest. And the reason why I like the 3 over the Secret Lab is because the seat cushion is much squishier, it's much softer, it feels a lot more comfortable. And these 2, not that one, these 2 are going to be great for single tuckers, double tuckers as well. And height recommendations are going to be in each of the individual videos that I have for these, so check that video out. And then if you want a racing style gaming chair that looks a lot more aesthetic and it's got honestly a better reputation, their customer service has better reputation, it's going to be the Fractal Refined chair. Now, this thing is going to have some drawbacks compared to these 2 chairs. The first one is the fact that you're not going to be able to have that full tilt back that you would get in a racing style gaming chair. So if you were to go ahead and tilt back like this, this is one of the big draws of these chairs, that you're able to really recline far, and then if you unlock this thing right here, you can almost get it to like 180 degrees, and you could take a nap in this if you really wanted. That's one of the big draws about these kind of racing style gaming chairs. The Fractal Refined will not let you do that. The other drawback of the Fractal Refine is the fact that you cannot curl up in this chair. You could, it's not going to be that comfortable because these edges, even though it's covered in fabric, they're very hard and they turn up. So if you want to go ahead and do like a single tuck or even a double tuck, you can see how much my ankle is raised up here because of this hard edge. So that's something to keep in mind. But when it comes to the ergonomic experience inside the Fractal Refine, it is significantly better than these other 2. The lumbar support feels like a proper lumbar support. Your backrest feels like a proper backrest. No weird poking and prodding. No gazillion amounts of turns to get something to pop out of this area. It's got a classic lumbar support that controls normally. And then you got this headrest here, which I do like. It adjusts up and down. So people as short as like 5'4" is able to fit this thing. I'm 5'6", and it works really well. And the biggest draw is going to be the warranty, right? So Fractal offers a 5-year warranty on the entire chair, but a 3-year warranty on the fabrics, which is huge. I mean, not many companies are doing this. So the fact that they would do that, and then Fractal also has a really huge following and really good brand reputation, because a lot of people say like, hey, I bought a case from Fractal years ago or whatever, and put in a claim for warranty, and I was shipped out a case like the next week or something. So Fractal has a really good name. When it comes to their chairs, I don't know, this thing is pretty new, but if their reputation holds true, like they do with their cases, the Fractal Refine could be a real contender in this place. They make it in mesh as well as fabric and Alcantara. I personally like the Alcantara version better. The Alcantara version and the fabric, I think, are similar. I don't have a fabric version, but a lot of people say, what about the fabric one? I think the Alcantara and fabric are going to be very similar, and we all personally here at the studio prefer the Alcantara one, so I think you're going to like the fabric one better. The mesh one, the mesh tends to be a little scratchy, but this is my opinion. Sorry, I'm going long here, but I read online, somebody asked about the mesh. Is it scratchy like Ahnestly said? And they said, no, I don't feel it, and they do have a waterfall front, so you're not supposed to feel it. So it gets really confusing, but the Fractal is a really good chair. I think it does change the game a little bit in terms of the racing style gaming chair, giving you something that looks really cool in that kind of racing style gaming chair package, but actually takes into mind ergonomics. So that's why this chair made it onto this list. Next up for the average height folks is the Steelcase Leap V2, the remanufactured version, and the authorized return version from Crandall Office. The remanufactured again means that they took old Steelcase Leap V2s, they refurbished it, they put on new fabric on it, they sanitized it, they cleaned it, they replaced any broken parts, things like that, and they sell it to you with a 12-year warranty and free returns. Also, on the steel, and this thing starts at about $600, so the remanufactured version. Also, on the remanufactured versions, you can get a thicker seat cushion. One of my biggest complaints about the Steelcase Leap V2 was that for a very expensive chair, because it cost $1,300 new from Steelcase, the seat cushion was too thin, and I felt like I was bottoming out, which was unacceptable to me for a chair at that price point. However, Crandall Office sells a thicker version of the seat cushion, and I highly recommend it. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But before I talk about why I like it, you can also get an authorized return version, which means as people who bought something from Steelcase, bought this chair from Steelcase, said they didn't like it for whatever reason, they returned it, Crandall Office took it, fixed up any dings or whatever that was on it, or they'll tell you about the dings and they sell it to you, and that one is about $1,000. So it hits the top point of this price list. Both of them fit here. You're going to see it again in the high tier in just a minute for brand new, but that's what you get. You get the remanufactured version or the authorized return version. You can buy this chair with a headrest, but the headrest is god awful. It's not adjustable. It's literally these two prongs with a pad on it, and it cannot move whatsoever. I strongly recommend you do not buy the headrest version. However, my friends over at ANY Headrest are actually working with Crandall Office to create an adjustable headrest for this chair. I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to get it. I'm bothering them often to be like, hey, can you guys send, when is it ready? Like, can you send it? I'd love to test it. I think there are a couple versions out there already. I don't really love the company that's making it right now because their headrests are pretty much all the same, and it's a design that I don't love. But if you want one right now, you can either do that, or there are 3D printed versions of it that you can find online. I actually have one. I haven't had the time to unbox it and test it, but that version does exist. And when I get the Crandall Office Atlas collab headrest, I'll compare it with the 3D printed one. The person who sent it to me, thank you so much. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to it, but I have that one. So if you want a headrest right now, you can even get a 3D printed version of it. Now, what makes this chair so good? Man, this is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. It's really grown on me. When I moved studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, the legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're going to want to stretch, you're going to want to move, and these chairs allow you to do that. Feel the freedom to do that. Allow blood flow to work. Allow you to change into different positions. Sit however you want to sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not going to be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a steel case Sleepy 2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, steel case Sleepy 2, excellent. Oh, and also, I don't think I mentioned this, but on the remanufactured and the authorized return, 12-year warranty, free returns on the entire chair. Excellent option versus paying $1,300 for a new one. So yeah, love to know your thoughts. Would you buy a used steel case Sleepy 2? Let me know in the comments. Next up is the open box Haworth Zodi. This thing is about $700, and the reason why it's not here is because my editor is using it. Hey John, I'm gonna need that chair.
Huh? Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, is this chocolate?
Yeah. Could you just please not mess with the settings?
I'm totally gonna mess with the settings. Of all the chairs in the studio, he picked this one. That's how good this chair is. Now, this chair does get pretty low, so it's good for the short sitters. It's got cushion all around, making a great option for people who want to double tuck or single tuck inside of this chair. So this chair is a phenomenal option. A lot of people are saying, hey, the Haworth Zodi is one of Haworth's best chairs. They really like it. I like it as well. The lower back kind of hugs that lumbar a little bit. One of the big things to consider though is the seat gap. When you have it all the way out, you do feel a seat gap back here. So if you're someone on the short side who likes to fully, extend the seat so you can really curl up into it and you scooch back, you might feel a seat gap in your butt. But otherwise, the features, again, this is a knockout. It's got all the features, functions you could ever want. It's also got a forward tilt as well. And the forward tilt is pretty dramatic compared to all of Haworth's other chairs so far. This thing tilts pretty far. It's got a great lean so that you're able to get close or play games really close to the screen and maintain a good posture. Helps you get out of the chair as well if you have knee issues like I do. Just a really phenomenal chair. The lumbar support feels great. Now, the open box Haworth, again, I'm saying this a million times, but you gotta know, just so that, I wanna keep it honest here, Crandall Office only provides a 2-year warranty for their open box Haworth chairs, and there are no returns allowed. It's considered a final sale. So you can either buy it open box from Crandall Office, or if you want to buy it new, it's going to be $1,200. So you're going to see this chair on the high tier list, but just wanted to keep that in mind. I think what keeps the Haworth Zodi from being as popular as it could be, especially in the average and the tall height ranges, is going to be the fact that it doesn't have a headrest. Now, I can imagine it's pretty easy to attach a headrest to this thing, and there might be some from third parties, but none that I know that are very reputable, so something to keep in mind. But a lot of people have said the Haworth Zodi is their favorite Haworth chair, and I can see why. It's really an underappreciated chair, phenomenal feeling chair, something definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a chair with a mesh back, with a good cushion, with a forward tiltability. Excellent chair. For the average height folks out there, coming in at about $800 is going to be a refurbished Aeron from Crandall Office. Now, Crandall Office sells these. A lot of people actually sell these used Aerons, but when they say refurbished, like other companies, you don't really know what that means. Most of the time, they just slap on a new gas cylinder, kind of dust the chair down, maybe wipe it down a little bit, and that's it. Crandall Office, their process is a little bit more in-depth, but they also offer a 12-year warranty and free returns, which is great. If you buy something off of Craigslist or something, you're not going to be able to return it. So something to keep in mind why you pay that price premium for the chair. Now, in this height range, you're probably going to want to get a size B, and as you get taller, probably around 5'11", you probably want to consider getting a size C. Also, size B and C, one of the differences is obviously going to be the height of things, but it's also going to be the width of things. So if you're heavier, you might want to go to a size C at a lower height range, so something to keep in mind. If you want to know whether it's a size A, B, or C, all you have to do is back here behind this, the backrest here, there's like an empty hole, and then the logo should be right here. It's being covered by the headrest, but back here, you should be able to feel dots. 1 dot means A, 2 dots means B, and 3 dots means C. That's how you can tell the size of your chair. Now, this headrest is an aftermarket headrest from ANY Headrest. There are 2 different versions. There's a mesh version, and the mesh version is going to be a 1-to-1 match, both in the frame color and the mesh color. This one here, I chose to get a fabric one. The fabric ones don't really have a match. It's a much lighter, brighter fabric here. This is before they had that, so that's why I just attached this. I personally prefer the fabric cushion version. I find it a lot softer, a lot more cushy. This is one of the best headrests in the world. I'm going to say a number 2 best headrest. In terms of functionality, you can move it forward and back and up and down, really easy to adjust, and then you can tilt it like this, so you can get it in any position that you want. And this headrest is going to accommodate everyone from 5'4" all the way to the super duper tall. So this is a phenomenal add-on. I'm not going to break down every single feature, every single functionality of the Herman Miller Aeron. If you want to see that, I've got a really in-depth video on how to buy a used Aeron, which you can check out. So Herman Miller Aeron, would you buy it used? Let me know in the comments. Next up in that mid-tier budget for my average height folks is going to be the Haworth Fern. There are a lot of caveats here that I need to explain. So the first one is that, again, if you get an open box Haworth Fern, you can get this is the mesh version. You can get this for about $800. And if you were to get a digital knit version, this is a special edition. But I'm just trying to show you what digital knit looks like. This is what the digital knit back looks like. It's my personal favorite back on the Haworth Fern. This thing costs about $1,000. Not this chair specifically, but this back with this type of seat. Sorry, I know it's a little confusing. That costs $1,000. I'll get a couple caveats with Crandall Office. They are great. However, with Haworth, they are only offering a 2-year warranty on the entire chair and no returns. It's considered final sale. Now, the reason why I love the Haworth Fern is because it just has a plethora of features. It's got that seat forward tilt like you saw before, where you're able to tilt this thing forward if you need to get close. You're playing games, keeps you in a healthy posture. The features and adjustments are top notch. The seat pan comes out. The lumbar support feels so good. This mesh version is super breathable. When you sit in it, you can feel the wind go through. If you put it against light, light will come through it. The digital knit version is going to be less breathable because it's got this knitted dots here. These digital knits, I didn't explain this properly, but it's got extra cushion in each of these things. It feels really like massagey. It feels really good, but it is less breathable overall. Now, I'm not going to talk about these specific versions right now because these you cannot get for under $1,000. This is the Xbox version. That's the Halo version. You can also get them open box or new from Haworth. They're considerably a little bit more expensive. But the one reason why these are here is because as you get higher up in the height, you're probably going to want to use the seat depth adjustment. The problem is when you use the seat depth adjustment on the Fern, when it's all the way out, it's not bad. But the problem is when you tilt back, you can feel a little bit of a seat gap. The only Fern that I've tested where I don't feel a seat gap, and I'm not sure if this is a quality control thing, I really don't know, is on the Xbox Fern. When you put the seat pan all the way out and you tilt back, you don't feel any kind of gap. I don't know why, I don't know if this is common, but on this one I have here and on the Halo one, I do feel a seat gap. That's the reason why these are here, just to showcase the digital knit, but also kind of to explain that gap in the seat. One last note for you average height folks out there. This is going to be for people who are 5'6" and above. If you're any shorter, it's not going to be relevant to you. But the Haworth Fern does have a headrest version. Right? This is what the headrest is going to look like. It's just going to be a pad that goes up and down. It's really bad. It's really dense. It's I hate this headrest so much. But you can remove these things. And if you get a headrest version, I strongly recommend you do. Or don't get a headrest at all and instead get a third-party headrest from a company called ANY Headrest. ANY Headrest makes, I think, the best headrest in the world for their chairs. It's Herman Miller, Haworth, and soon to be Steelcase. So they make some excellent headrests, and this thing is phenomenal. Unfortunately, because of the design of the chair, it doesn't go all that low, and so it's going to be best for people who are 5'6" and above. If you're under that, it's not going to hit you right. It's not going to feel as comfortable. This is the cushion version here, and I know the cushion doesn't match the fabric on the chair, but the frame of it here does match the framing on the back. It's not one-to-one, but it's pretty close, and this thing is highly adjustable. On the previous section, I showed this, but yeah, you can loosen it, and this thing is able to go in or out, so you can adjust on that x-axis, and then you can adjust on the y-axis, go up and down, and then you can go ahead and swivel this thing as well. This cushion is phenomenal. It's super soft. One of my favorite headrests, really easy to adjust. And then you can turn these knobs here, and it's going to really lock it in. But it's going to have the perfect amount of tension where when you sit on it, it's not going to move. But you can, if you push really hard, you can still move it while sitting in the chair, which is really critical because different seat positions, different tilts require that headrest a little bit adjusted. So I like that you can still adjust it while sitting inside of your chair. Highly recommend this headrest. You can use my code for, I think, $5 off. Yeah, love it. This is the best chair to pair with standing desks. It's called the Haworth Zodi Upholstered. You can buy it open box from Crandall Office for $900, or you can buy it brand new from Haworth for $1,200. And again, for that $300 savings with Crandall Office, you're getting a 2-year warranty and no returns, whereas if you go directly with Haworth, you get it for 12-year warranty and free returns. Now, the reason why this is so good for standing desks, not only does it have all the functionality and features that you could ever want in a chair, but it's also got something called the perch mode. What this means is that if you were to go ahead and raise the chair up all this way, what you could do is you could tilt back, and then if you tilt, this is the forward tilt here like this, But in this raised up mode, it actually tilts even more far forward as you go forward into the chair. This allows you to work at a standing desk and then kind of be able to just gently back down. And you don't need to be very tall for this, right? So you're able to just kind of stand up and quickly get down and just kind of do this for a little bit. And because your feet are planted into the ground, you're not slouching. It's easy to sit like this. It makes it a really good, quick sit to stand on a standing desk. Really excellent option. Don't let the pink color fool you. I wanted something that popped on camera. I thought my wife wanted to keep this chair, and she does. I just never brought it home. Sorry, honey. But so it is a great chair. It comes in different color variants. Again, don't let the pink color fool you if you want a good chair for standing desks. The seat cushion is dense, feels really good. Backrest feels good, highly adjustable, lumbar support. Arms adjust every which way. It's a really, really good chair. Next up is the remanufactured steel case gesture from Crandall Office. Just to recap again, Crandall Office sells a remanufactured version of steel case chairs and authorized returns. Remanufactured means they took old steel case chairs, they fixed them up with their refurbishing process, and they sell them, and they provide a 12-year warranty as well as free returns. Then you get your authorized returns, which basically means people got a chair from Steelcase, decided they didn't want it, they returned it. Crandall Office took those, and then they sell them, and they give 12-year warranty as well as free returns on those. But for the purposes of this, all you have to know is that the remanufactured gesture comes in at about $900. Now, you can get a non-headrest version or the headrest version. If you're going to get the headrest version, I highly recommend you be 5'6" or above. If you're shorter than that, this thing doesn't quite get low enough. It gets low enough, but this isn't a usable headrest position. Your head's going to be like this if you want to use it, right? So I really recommend you be around 5'6" to use this headrest well. Steelcase gesture, one of the best built chairs in the industry. I mean, this thing is built like a tank. It's got some of the best adjustable armrests in the industry. You can get it to go wherever you want it to go. They move out of position a little bit easy, so some people don't love that. But in terms of moving it where you want, super easy to do. It's got a lot of high-end adjustment features. It feels really premium, like in the Kolami Atlas I talked about earlier, where you can sit full weight in the chair and be able to change the seat depth, that the gesture is able to do that, and you don't feel any gap in that seat back, gap in the seat back there. You've also got this lumbar kind of tightening system that makes you kind of hugs that lower back area. Just a really, really great chair. 12-year warranty, free returns from Crandall Office. Great deal, great chair. Final chair for the average height folks, we have the Herman Miller Sail. This thing comes in at about $995. It's a phenomenal chair, feels really, really great. The seat cushion is one of the best. And when the Herman Miller Vantum came out and it cost about the same as the Sail, I was really confused. I was like, who would buy the Vantum when the Sail exists? Because not only is this probably the prettiest, best looking chair in the mid-tier budget range. I mean, you see these things in every high-end office, every artsy-fartsy place. You see these chairs everywhere because they just look phenomenal, but also the seat cushion blows the Vantum seat cushion out of the water. Looks really great. This is the gaming version, so it's got different color variants. Even if you were to get the non-gaming version, it also comes in pretty cool variants as well. I think they're all sub $1,000. Just looks really, really great, and one of the big features here is going to be that forward tilt. So again, if you want to look forward, lean down, whatever you want to do, because your legs are digging into the ground, you're able to maintain good posture throughout it. Man, this is just a really good chair. Holy, so it's nice and breathable. This rubber isn't hard. It's like stiff, but not hard, so it's supportive. It's just a really good chair. I really like this one. Something to keep in mind is that I believe Herman Miller got rid of their free shipping and free returns as well. I think, being biggest chair manufacturer in the world, I think a lot of people were abusing that system, so I think they took it away, so now we do have to pay a fee for those things. One caveat is that if you're 6'2" and you've got a taller back, you might want to avoid this chair. You see back here, it's got these kind of hard edges right here. If you're really tall, these things might start digging into your back, so it might not be a great option for 6'2" folks. Average height, I'm rich biatch. For my average height people, the first chair in the I'm rich biatch section is going to be an authorized return Steelcase gesture. Authorized return means that Crandall Office received chairs from Steelcase, from people who decide to return their chairs, and they're selling them, and Crandall Office offers 12-year warranties and free returns. So these are basically open box like new chairs, excellent condition. If you decide to get it new, Steelcase sells them for, I believe, $1,400 new, and you get a 12-year warranty from Steelcase and free returns as well. So those are the two options. Steelcase Gesture, one of the best built chairs in the industry. I mean, this thing is built like a tank. It's got some of the best adjustable armrests in the industry. You can get it to go wherever you want it to go. They move out of position a little bit easy, so some people don't love that. But in terms of moving it where you want, super easy to do. It's got a lot of high-end adjustment features. It feels really premium, like in the Kolami Atlas I talked about earlier, where you can sit full weight in the chair and be able to change the seat depth, that the Gesture is able to do that, and you don't feel any gap in that seat back, gap in the seat back there. You've also got this lumbar kind of tightening system that makes you kind of hugs that lower back area. Just a really, really great chair. 12-year warranty, free returns from Crandall office. Great deal, great chair. This is the Haworth Zodi upholstered, brand new from Haworth. This thing is going to come with a 12-year warranty as well as free returns, and it comes in at $1,200. Now, the reason why this is so good for standing desks, not only does it have all the functionality and features that you could ever want in a chair, but it's also got something called the perch mode. What this means is that if you were to go ahead and raise the chair up all this way, what you could do is you could tilt back, and then if you tilt, this is the forward tilt here like this, but in this raised up mode, it actually tilts even more far forward as you go forward into the chair. This allows you to work at a standing desk and then kind of be able to just gently back down, and you don't need to be very tall for this, right? So you're able to just kind of stand up and quickly get down and just kind of do this for a little bit, and because your feet are planted into the ground, you're not slouching, it's easy to sit like this. It makes it a really good, quick sit to stand on a standing desk. Really excellent option. Don't let the pink color fool you. I wanted something that popped on camera. I thought my wife wanted to keep this chair, and she does. I just never brought it home. Sorry, honey. But so it is a great chair. It comes in different color variants. Again, don't let the pink color fool you if you want a good chair for standing desks. The seat cushion is dense, feels really good. Backrest feels good, highly adjustable lumbar support. Arms adjust every which way. It's a really, really good chair. Average height people, I've got another mesh chair option for you. We've got the Steelcase Carmen. This is the regular back, and this is the high back. If you're in that 5'4", 5'5" range, you could opt to get a regular back, but if you're 5'6" and taller, I strongly recommend the high back. I personally prefer the high back over the regular back, just because I think this thing bends and twists with you even better than the regular. But this is gonna be my favorite mesh chair. The reason why is because this mesh feels fantastic. It feels fabricy in nature rather than plasticky like on the Aeron and every other chair. And the big draw about this chair is going to be the fact that it can really flex and move with you. Now, I know a lot of people kind of say, like, why would I want that in a chair? I don't understand. You know, am I going to be doing yoga, or like what's the draw of it? And the idea is that, hey, look, I move around a lot throughout the day, right? Like sometimes I'll kind of sit like this, sometimes I'll kind of sit like this, sometimes I'll just kind of like do a single tuck or whatever, and I can sit in this chair any way that I want, and it'll move and it'll adjust, and I won't feel uncomfortable. I'm not gonna feel pinching, I'm not gonna feel hard edges. It's just really, really great for just active seating. It's not an active chair, but it's great for active seating. It's also pretty simplified in terms of its mechanics. It uses a weight-activated recline, which basically means that if I go ahead and kind of loosen it, not loosen it, but if I just open the back tilt so I can tilt, this thing will sense how much pressure I'm putting on it, and it'll hold me in that position without any kind of pressure or digging with my legs, so it feels like I'm floating. So if you like a simple chair, you want a mesh chair that breathes really well, and you want something that kind of moves with you throughout the day, Steelcase Carmen, phenomenal. 12-year warranty, free returns. I think this one is like $1,130 starting, and I believe this one is around $1,200 starting. This headrest, by the way, useless, completely useless, but the rest of the chair is great. For the average height folks, again, the Haworth Fern makes a reappearance. If you get it brand new from Haworth, it's gonna run you this mesh version. It's gonna start around $1,200. And then if you wanna get a digital knit version, not this one, this is the gaming version, but one with this kind of back, it's about $1,300. And then if you wanna get these gaming versions, I believe the Halo version is $1,400 and the Xbox is $1,500. I think those are the prices. This Xbox One is the best value in my humble opinion. The reason why is because this seat is genuine leather. So is the Halo one, by the way. It's genuine leather, and then this backrest here, this is the digital knit, and this is my favorite back. It's got these little pockets of fabric, really cushy on the back. Really like this version. But the biggest reason why I like the Xbox One is compared to, you know, when I tested both of these out, and for some reason, only the Xbox Fern, when I put the seat pan all the way out, I can't feel a seat gap in the back here. That's huge because this chair, I've always recommended it for taller folks. I mean, like average, like this entire 5'4" all the way to 6'2", all the way up. The problem was the deal breaker for a lot of people are like, I love the chair, but the seat gap back here is a deal breaker for me. So if the Xbox Ferns are designed without a seat gap, this is going to be great for everyone above 5'4", like 5'4" and above, right? So because of that, I really like the Xbox Fern. I cannot confirm if it's the only one, if it's quality control, what's going on or why. It's the only one though, I don't know. This is in my testing that you can't feel a seat gap. Also, if you do get one that comes with a headrest, these headrests are terrible. You can remove them. I'm supposed to come out with a video on how to remove them. I've been saying that for a while. I'm trying to find time, guys, I promise. But you can remove these headrests and you can attach a third-party headrest. This one here is from Atlas Headrest. Atlas Headrest sells, I think, the best headrest in the world. This thing is an attachment. This headrest was normally meant for the Herman Miller Aeron, but people found out how to attach it, and then Atlas Headrest worked with them to come up with a solution. Now they sell this adapter, and this headrest is great because you can adjust it both on the y-axis as well as on the x-axis to get it as deep as you want. And then you can also swivel this thing, and to lock it in place, you can twist these knobs, and you can twist it enough so that when you're sitting in the chair, you can still adjust them. And that's really great because you are going to need to make micro adjustments as you move throughout the day in different lean positions. This cushion is phenomenal, fits great in that neck, really great. If you want to use my code, you can do so for $5 off the headrest. Next up is the Steelcase Leap V2, getting it new from Steelcase. This is $1,300. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. You can buy this chair with a headrest, but the headrest is god-awful. It's not adjustable. It's literally these two prongs with a pad on it, and it cannot move whatsoever. I strongly recommend you do not buy the headrest version. However, my friends over at Atlas Headrest are actually working with Crandall Office to create an adjustable headrest for this chair. I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to get it. I'm bothering them often to be like, hey, can you guys send, when is it ready? Like, can you send it? I'd love to test it. I think there are a couple versions out there already. I don't really love the company that's making it right now because their headrests are pretty much all the same, and it's a design that I don't love. But if you want one right now, you can either do that, or there are 3D printed versions of it that you can find online. I actually have one. I haven't had the time to unbox it and test it, but that version does exist. And when I get the Crandall Office Atlas Collab headrest, I'll compare it with the 3D printed one. The person who sent it to me, thank you so much. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to it, but I have that one. So if you want a headrest right now, you can even get a 3D printed version of it. But yeah, the Atlas headrest / Crandall Office collab should be coming in the near future. Now, what makes this chair so good? Man, this is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. It's really grown on me. When I moved to studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, these legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're going to want to stretch. You're going to want to move, and these chairs allow you to do that. Feel the freedom to do that. Allow blood flow to work. Allow you to change into different positions. Sit however you want to sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not going to be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember, but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a Steelcase Leap V2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, steel case sleepy too. Excellent. For my average height folks, this is the Human Scale Freedom with headrest, which I'm going to strongly recommend. This is about $1,300 with the headrest. I also got the upgraded seat cushion. I think it's called like a gel cushion or something. I strongly recommend that as well. I love this seat, love this chair. It's a newcomer here. I tested it this past year, and I said it was going to get on my top chair recommendation list, and it has. It is a great chair. I personally think it's a great chair. If you decide to get this one though, make sure you watch my individual review of it, because there's a secret adjustment that Human Scale doesn't talk about, which completely transforms your experience in this chair. Case in point, I used to own this chair a long time ago and I hated it. So I refused to review it. That's why I only reviewed it this past year after learning about it. And it's, again, been a game changer for me. It's a pretty simple chair in that it barely has any kind of like tilt tension because it uses a weight activated recline, but it's got a lot of adjustments, right? So when I say it's simple, it means that you don't have to like finagle with everything to like get it in the right, it's got a weight activated recline. So when you push back on it, it's gonna push you back so you're floating. But then it's also got a seat depth control, and what's great about this seat depth, no gap in the back. So I have it all the way out here, huge seat, really wide, really deep, and you can double, single tuck because it's soft all around. And then what's best is that if you are super tall, you're getting into that 5'11", 6 foot range. Back here, there's a tab that you can push, and you can actually lift it up to make sure that it's getting into that back area that fits you nicely. And what's great about this headrest is that as you tilt back, the headrest is actually going to lean forward a little bit, so it kind of catches you. So you don't have to like move your head back to find it. It's gonna find you as you go back into it. My friend who is 6'1", he's using the chair. He says he loves it. He really likes this chair. Of all the chairs in the studio, he picked this one. These armrests also go super duper low as well, so you don't ever have to, if you don't want to use it, if you want to game without it, tuck under a chair, whatever you want to do. Excellent chair, just really, really good overall. 15-year warranty, but then you got some weird caveats, like the fabric has like a 5-year warranty, and then the return policy is a little bit confusing. It says that it's like a 15 or 20% restocking fee, but I'm not really sure, so that's something you might want to look into before buying this chair. Again, like this chair a lot. Strongly recommend it. Yeah, I love it. Next up is the Herman Miller Mira 2. I'm going to strongly recommend that you get the butterfly knit back here. What this means is that you get this kind of darker, knitty, little bit plushy-ish material. Without it, you would just have this hard kind of plastic exposed. When I tested it, and I tested it without this, it was kind of digging into my back, so this offered a nice barrier. It feels much more cushy on my back. Really, really like this chair. You're gonna see this chair in all kinds of artsy-fartsy offices. It's gonna be great for people that are shorter because the chair goes nice and low, but it's also gonna be great for people that are taller in that 6'2" range, because this thing does, the seat pan does have a little bit of depth adjustment to it. So it's really cool in that if you can push it down for shorter folks out there, and then if you're taller, you can go ahead and pinch it and bring it up to give you that extra seat depth. It's not the best for single and double tuckers. You still have hard edges here. It kind of raises up that ankle, but it's not the worst either. It's not as bad as, for example, on a Herman Miller Aeron. This is just another mesh option with a very designery look. Great for passing your booty juices past it without staining your chair or anything like that. It's a really, man, it just feels really good. It feels really supportive, especially on like that upper back area. Feels incredibly supportive up there. Just a really solid chair. Lumbar support you can tighten in as well. The arms go super low. You can see that it goes super high, and then it goes super low as well, being down here. So great for tucking into desks or just moving them out of the way. Solid chair, 12-year warranty, no longer free returns with Herman Miller because people have been abusing their system, because largest chair manufacturer in the world. Overall, great chair, really big fan of it. Get a pretty big price bump here, coming in at $2,000, but I'm gonna say $1,800 because I do have a permanent $200 off coupon code that doesn't expire. So if you want this chair, you can use that. So I'm just gonna call it $1,800. This is the Anthros chair. This is one of my top favorite chairs, next to the Embody, next to the Fern, next to the Carmen as mesh. This is, I think, in my humble opinion, the best chair for lower back pain and the best chair for proper seating. If this is your goal, you wanna sit properly, you wanna fix your posture, I don't think any chair does it better than this. I mean, it really is something that I've been enjoying a lot. It does kind of beat you into submission in terms of like getting you to sit properly, and this seat cushion is one of the best. They used to make wheelchairs. Yeah, that was a lot of people in that industry, in this company, made wheelchairs. So they understand how to design a chair that's gonna be comfortable all day. And I can attest to it. This seat is incredible. In my humble opinion, I love it. But the biggest thing is going to be this pelvic support here. The way they designed it, you know, I created a whole video on how to adjust it properly. But when you get it into place, I mean, it just feels like you are just sitting properly throughout the day. And it discourages like slouching. It discourages like weird sitting, like hunching and stuff like that. It really helps you sit without like, it's punishing in the sense that if you try to deviate and sit in unhealthy ways, it's not going to be the greatest. And it's also going to force your muscles to have to like learn how to sit properly so that you're not like sitting like a slob all day. So in that regards, it's punishing. But in this regard, when you sit in it, it just feels comfortable. Like it feels like I should be sitting like this all the time. It's just a really good chair. There are some cons about it, like these arms are a little bit dinky, pretty cheap feeling overall. But in terms of like proper sitting, eliminating some of that lower back pain because you've been sitting weird all day, there really isn't a chair that does it better. And I'm a big fan of Anthros. This is why it's one of my top chairs. Someone came in today, actually. They were delivering a chair today. They saw this one. They said, oh, I want that one. But I said, it's $1,800. And he said, oh, I don't like it that much. So yeah, I do get that the cost can be a little bit limiting. They do offer a 12-year warranty matching all the big players, 12-year warranty, free returns, so you can try it. Yeah, I really like it. Believe in this chair. Use it often. That's why it's sitting up there as well. It's white, so the light reflects off of it, but it's also a chair that I really like. So yeah, Anthros chair. Check it out. Next up at $1,800 is the Herman Miller Aeron remastered version. This is going to be $1,800, and then I highly recommend at 5'4" minimum, you get the Atlas headrest. So this is the Atlas headrest for it. You can see that it is a 1-to-1 match in terms of the frame color here, and then this cushion is also a 1-to-1 match as much as possible with the frame color here. This headrest is phenomenal, pairs really well. Starting at 5'4", I think you can reach it because it does go past the chair a little bit. Any shorter than that, and you might be missing it. So Herman Miller Aeron needs no defense. Why would you get the remastered and pay this much money over against a classic used Aeron? It's going to be because it's got some updated design language that kind of fits with modern understanding of sitting. The biggest one being this waterfall seat edge. So waterfall edge basically means the front comes down quicker, and the reason that's helpful is because then there isn't as much pinching. You're not going to block off circulation. Legs fall asleep, butt falls asleep. You're not going to ideally, right? Hopefully, not get that as much in the updated Aeron. So that is something to think about. The lumbar support also, I find that I do like it better than the older one. This is the highest end lumbar, and I do find it more supportive than the older highest end lumbar. So for all those reasons, it's great. I don't need to defend the Herman Miller Aeron. This thing speaks for itself. Also, one of the older, outdated languages of the Aeron in general is the fact that this is a con, is that it doesn't move with you, right? Like if you decide to sit like this, or you decide to single tuck or something throughout the day. Not saying that these are healthy ways to sit, but just as you move around throughout the day, the chair is not really moving with you, right? You're going to get pokes and prods from all the hard edges that are present on the chair. But overall, this is still a phenomenal chair. I mean, millions of people own these things, and they love it. So yeah, it's a great chair. Highly recommend. Herman Miller Aeron was my first love. It's the first chair that fixed my back pain, so I've got a sweet spot for it. In terms of sizing, if you're about 5'4" up to about 5'10", 5'11", you probably want to get a size B. And then at 5'10", 5'11", especially if you're on the wider side, you probably want to get a size C. And just as a recap, how do you know what size you have? If you look back here on the backrest, there's a gap here. If you put your finger, right now the headrest is blocking it, but if you put your finger back here, it's going to be 1 dot for size A, 2 dots for size B, 3 dots for size C. And this is the Atlas headrest. It needs no explanation. One of the best headrests in the world. Goes up, goes forward and back. It swivels. This cushion is phenomenal. Provides excellent support for those neck and those shoulders, especially for those who want that support. It's the best in the business. All right, last chair for the average height folks is the Herman Miller Embody. This is the non-gaming Embody, and this is the gaming Embody. Both come in different color variants, but this is the ones that you see here. The Herman Miller Embody, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's my favorite chair. This was kind of a framework breaking chair for me. A lot of people were talking about how much they like the Embody. This was before it got super famous, and then I decided to get it, and when I sat in it, I was like, wow, okay, this is a different type of chair. Phenomenal. They somehow took the kind of flexibility of mesh, but put softer cushions on it and just made it a really wide and open chair that allows you to sit however you feel like. Great for single, double tuckers. You can sit in this chair any way that you want. Sometimes it's almost too encouraging for me to slouch in the chair sometimes. When I unlock the back lock like this, sometimes I do find myself slouching in the chair because every position in this chair is super comfortable. I've made multiple videos on this chair because I do love it so much. And yeah, I recommend you watch those. Just really, really excellent chair. For everyone in this height range, if you want a headrest, this headrest does work for it. These headrests are from a company called ANY Headrest. They make a one-to-one match with most of the chairs out there. There's another company that makes headrests for them too. I didn't like their headrests like at all. That company got mad and made like rebuttal videos, and they came at me, and I don't know. I think it was their claims are really nonsense, so I made a rebuttal back. Anyways, you can watch that drama if you want, but yeah, no, drama in the chair world, crazy, right? But anyways, I think these are the best headrests. The cushion is the best. The matching scheme is the best. Even this like plexi mesh matches the plexi, like what is it called? Pixelated mesh matches one-to-one, so it looks really OEM. But the biggest thing is the cushion and the functionality. I think it really is great. These chairs are excellent. 12-year warranty. Unfortunately, no returns, not no returns, not free returns, not free shipping anymore from Herman Miller. It's a real, downer, but that is the way it is. One last note, at 6'4" is when you start to get diverging opinions on the Herman Miller Embody. Some people say that these edges here start to dig into shoulders, whereas some people said, I have no issue whatsoever. It's just gonna depend on your body type, so that is something to keep in mind. For my tall, beautiful, freak of nature friends, look at me, look at me. If you are in this height range and you're not being paid millions to throw a ball, you have failed at life. Yes, I'm humbling you because your hundreds of matches on Hinge for being tall is not doing your ego any favors, so someone's got to do it. In all seriousness, the most humbling thing will probably be trying to find a chair at your height range, because a lot of manufacturers don't really think about you all because you make up a really small percentage of the population. This is also a really confusing height range as well. I get a lot of comments from tall folks, and some people say I'm 6'4" and this chair works perfectly, whereas other people will say I'm 6'4" and I absolutely hate this chair. It hits me weird in the shoulders, so it can be a little bit confusing. The thing that will be overarchingly true for this height range will be that you're probably going to have to pay a price premium to get a chair that works for you. I did my best to come up with this list, but if you are part of the truly tall, let us know in the comments below what chair worked and what chairs didn't work for you. I'm sure that would be a huge service to everyone, and it's also gonna help with the algorithm. Really, really appreciate it. Tall folks, budget tier. The Sihu M18 is one of my favorite chair picks under $200, but for the big and tall folks, the regular M18 will not work. Instead, I've seen a lot of people pick up the big and tall version of the M18. I personally have not tested one, so I don't know how it's going to work. I've just seen a lot of people purchase them and not return them. So if that's something that you'd like to check out, it's a possibility. One other benefit is that it's available overseas as well, which I know is a big complaint that I get. A lot of people saying, hey, all these chairs aren't available in my country. The M18 is available pretty worldwide, and so it could be a solid option for you all. My favorite things about this chair are going to be the lumbar support is really solid and pretty adjustable for a chair under 200 bucks. The seat cushion is also one of my favorites. I don't really know how to explain this thing. It's really dense but soft. It's just a denser cushion than I've experienced from any of these chairs. And the adjustments are pretty basic, but for a chair that's sub $200, I find it to be a really, really great package. The headrest on the regular M18, again, I can't speak to the big and tall one, but on the regular M18, this thing doesn't go all that high. So in the average height section, I recommended the maximum height for this headrest be around 5'10". If the big and tall version is anything like this one, you're probably not gonna be able to utilize this if this thing doesn't go taller on that version. Coming in at $180 is the Staples Carter, or as Jackie Chan likes to say it, Carter! I've done that joke 2 times now in the other sections, so yeah, sorry if I don't have the same amount of energy. Anyways, this is a bit of an experimental pick. I'd love to see what the tall folks think. Staples has a great return policy if you'd end up not liking it, but the reason why it's here is because of this single adjustment right here. This backrest can actually raise up like this and lock into place. I know it's not the tallest back in the world, but it does give an option for extra back support up that back for you extra tall people out there, and I want to know, is this a good option for you? Is this something that you like? It also has phenomenal adjustments for a chair under $200, which is another reason why I'm recommending it, because I think if you're not able to enjoy it while sitting up, there are plenty of adjustments you can make to try to get it to fit. So you can see kind of where it hits on my back. I'm 5'6". You can imagine that if you're a bit taller, it will support that back. But most importantly, you're able to actually adjust this, just the backrest here, by moving it into a position and locking it in place. So if you're someone who likes to sit more upright, you can lock it there. If you're someone who likes to tilt back a little bit in your chair, you can lock it there as well. And then you also get a seat tilt lock. So what it means is that you know how you can tilt in a chair? Well, you can lock this into position anywhere you want. You can also have this flexible and you can lounge in the chair like this as well. With a great return policy, a 7-year warranty, and pretty good customer service, this is why I'm happily able to recommend the Staples Carter to you tall folks out there. If you're on the tall side and you're looking for something cushy all around, this is the Staples Lockland. This thing comes at $240 and the backrest is really tall. The cushions are super beefy, really thick. But the best part about this chair is that it's from Staples. Now, if you're here in the United States, Staples has a really solid warranty of 7 years, and from what I've read online, their customer support tends to be on the better end of the spectrum. So if you have any issues with this chair, you could either get the part replaced or you can get the whole chair replaced altogether. The big drawback here is that for $240, you're actually not getting very many features at all. Yes, the cushions are plush and thick, but it still feels like a budget chair, and these cushions seem like they will flatten over time. This is fake leather here, so this thing may crack, especially if you leave it in the sun for long periods of time, and the adjustments are just not that good. The only adjustments that this chair has is really height adjustment and a back tilt lock, and you can only lock it upright or open it so that you can tilt, and that's pretty much it. Tall folks, mid-tier. For my tall friends out there, we have the Steelcase EMEA. Now, the reason why this is on the list is because I didn't expect this chair to work for taller folks, but I've seen people in the comments tell me that they're 6'4", 6'5", and they love the Steelcase EMEA, which is why it's on this list. Again, this is not a list for me, this is meant to be a list for you. I take the comments that have come in and I try my best to piece things together to try to give you a list of what's worked for people. So Steelcase EMEA, one of my favorite chairs. It is a sleeper chair. Doesn't look fancy, doesn't look whatever, but the build quality is great. One of my favorite seat cushions. This thing comes in 3 different buying price variants. I'll explain all of them. It's going to be a little confusing, but bear with me. So the first 2 methods are to buy it basically used and then like new. So for $520, you can get it from a company called Crandall Office. Crandall Office, in the used chair space, there are a lot of shady companies out there, a lot of weird people out there. Crandall Office is one of the few that I found, one of the few gems that I really trust. They have an excellent reputation online, so don't take my word for it. This video is not sponsored. I just really like them, and I want to drive business to them because they're good people. Anyways, so the Steelcase EMEA starts, the remanufactured, starts at $520. What does that mean? It means they find old EMEAs and they refurbish it using their deep, like 12-step refurbishing process. They sanitize it, replace the covers, replace whatever needs to be replaced. They do that entire process, and they give you a 12-year warranty on the entire chair, and you get free returns as well. So that is an option. Then you've got, for $800, their authorized return EMEA. Authorized return basically means that people who bought an EMEA from Steelcase decided they didn't like it and they returned it to Steelcase. Crandall Office then goes to Steelcase, takes these chairs, and then they sell it. And Crandall Office provides a 12-year warranty on the entire chair. If there's anything broken with it, they take pictures, they make sure they communicate everything, dings, scratches, whatever it might be, they communicate that in the pictures on the listing, and they sell it. 12-year warranty on the entire chair and free returns there as well. Then the third and most expensive option is $1,000, and that is basically buying a new Steelcase EMEA directly from Steelcase, and you get 12-year warranty from Steelcase, and you get free returns to Steelcase as well. So those are your 3 buying options. I'd love to know, would you ever buy a used chair, open box chair? Love to know in the comments. for my tall friends out there, sometimes you just want a chair that's going to give you and cover your entire back and give you a bit of head and neck support. And because of that, the racing style gaming chairs can be pretty practical for you tall people out there. And so these are the 3 picks that are here. This is the Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022. As much as I think this seat cushion is too firm, there are a lot of people out there who love this chair. Some people have even said, I prefer it over my Herman Miller Embody, which is a $2,000 chair. It's one of my personal favorites. But because of that, that's why this chair is on this list. And if you are a real tall freak of nature like you are on this list, you're going to want to get that XL. By the way, I'm just joking when I say that. Some people are like, oh, that's really offensive. It's a joke. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm just trying to add some humor. Sorry, if it misses, it's because I'm not funny. Okay, so Titan Evo 2022 XL is probably the one you want to go for. This one here, I think, is actually the small size. So yeah, the XL is going to be bigger. I have it over there somewhere. It's buried in some chairs. But yeah, the XL. That one is going to be about $600. Me personally, if you want a racing style gaming chair and you want a seat cushion that's softer, the Kaiser 3 is my pick. This seat cushion is soft all around, great for single tuckers, great for double tuckers, great for, I think, just sitting in general compared to the Evo because of the softer seat cushions. It's got the same features. They all pretty much use the same architecture. You know, one of the best features about these chairs is the fact that it's able to, you know, kind of tilt back like this. And then if you were to unlock the seat tilt as well, then you're able to kind of go back almost 180 degrees, take a nap in this thing, right? And so because of that, that's one of the big standout features of these racing style gaming chairs. And again, if you want something that covers the entire back, this is the large version. You probably want to go for the XL version because you're a lot taller. Something to keep in mind though, one of the reasons why you might want to pull for the Titan Evo 2022 are these things here. I read in a comment recently that these handlebars here, for some reason, you know, they ask, why are they there? I think normally they're supposed to have seat belts in here, but obviously we don't need seat belts. So it's like, why are they here? And some really tall people told me that their backs do dig into this plastic. So if you're worried about that, the Titan Evo 2022 might be something to consider. And then if you're looking for something, a really tall chair, kind of racing style, gaming-esque aesthetic, but considers ergonomics, the Fractal Refine is going to be a great option for you as well. So this chair is going to be a little bit different. There are some drawbacks about this chair compared to a traditional racing style gaming chair. The biggest ones are the fact that you cannot recline inside of this chair. Like you can't recline like the way you would in those chairs. This thing does let you recline, but it's not going to be super duper far. So you're able to get pretty far, but this is about the maximum limit you can go. Also, another thing to keep in mind is the fact that you can't double tuck or single tuck inside of this chair. You see these edges here, even though it's covered in fabric, this is not soft and it's not flat. And so if you try to single tuck or even double tuck, you can kind of see my ankle here that it's raised up and it's uncomfortable in this position. Compared to these other two, completely flat design, allows you to tuck, single tuck, whatever you want to do inside of it, the Fractal Refine cannot do. The big plus and the pro about the Fractal Refine though compared to these other two is the fact that the lumbar support feels like a traditional lumbar support, easy to adjust, easy to raise up and down. You can increase it, decrease it. These things have these knobs here that take like 9 million turns to feel anything, and when it does come out, it feels a little bit awkward, feels a little bit weird. You don't run into that issue with this chair. This chair also, you know, these go straight and then just straight down. Whereas the Fractal Refine uses a waterfall edge, so the edge kind of goes down like this, so it's not pinching or pushing or cutting off circulation on your legs. They really thought about the ergonomics in this chair, and while the backrest does sit a little bit straighter than I like it to be, I prefer it to be a little bit more curvy. It's still a good pick, and again, another big pro over these two chairs. Well, the Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 has a 5-year warranty. I believe the Kaiser has a 2 or 3-year warranty. The Fractal Refine has a 5-year warranty on the mechanical parts and a 3-year warranty on all of the fabrics. That is huge. I don't know many chair companies that even offer warranty on the fabrics. They just call it wear and tear. So the fact that Fractal offers that is really awesome. But also, Fractal has a brand reputation. People love Fractal because they say that customer support, customer service is excellent. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like for their chairs because this thing is brand new and chairs are clunky, they're heavy, so I don't know what that's going to look like moving forward, but if it's anything like their support for their PC cases, it should be excellent, and it's one of the reasons why the Fractal Refine is on this list amongst all the other ergonomic benefits the Refine offers over traditional racing style gaming chairs. Next up is the Steelcase Leap V2. the remanufactured version and the authorized return version from Crandall Office. The remanufactured, again, means that they took old Steelcase Sleep V2s, they refurbished it, they put on new fabric on it, they sanitized it, they cleaned it, they replaced any broken parts, things like that, and they sell it to you with a 12-year warranty and free returns. Also, on the and this thing starts at about $600, so the remanufactured version. Also, on the remanufactured versions, you can get a thicker seat cushion. One of my biggest complaints about the Steelcase Sleep V2 was that for a very expensive chair, because it cost $1,300 new from Steelcase, the seat cushion was too thin, and I felt like I was bottoming out, which was unacceptable to me for a chair at that price point. However, Crandall Office sells a thicker version of the seat cushion, and I highly recommend it. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But before I talk about why I like it, you can also get an authorized return version, which means it's people who bought something from Steelcase, bought this chair from Steelcase, said they didn't like it for whatever reason, they returned it, Crandall Office took it, fixed up any dings or whatever that was on it, or they'll tell you about the dings and they sell it to you, and that one is about $1,000. So it hits the top point of this price list. Both of them fit here. You're gonna see it again in the high tier in just a minute for brand new, but that's what you get. You get the remanufactured version or the authorized return version. Now, what makes this chair so good? Man, this is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. It's really grown on me. When I moved studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, the legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Haworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're gonna wanna stretch, you're gonna wanna move, and these chairs allow you to do that, feel the freedom to do that, allow blood flow to work, allow you to change into different positions, sit however you wanna sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not gonna be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember, but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a Steelcase Sleep V2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, Steelcase Sleep V2, excellent. Oh, and also, I don't think I mentioned this, but on the remanufactured and the authorized return, 12-year warranty, free returns on the entire chair. Excellent option versus paying $1,300 for a new one. So yeah, love to know your thoughts. Would you buy a used Steelcase Sleep V2? Let me know in the comments. Next up is the open box Haworth Zodi. This thing is about $700, and the reason why it's not here is because my editor is using it. Hey John, I'm gonna need that chair.
Huh? Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, is this chocolate?
Yeah. Could you just please not mess with the settings?
I'm totally gonna mess with the settings. Of all the chairs in the studio, he picked this one. That's how good this chair is. Now, this chair does get pretty low, so it's good for the short sitters. It's got cushion all around, making a great option for people who want to double tuck or single tuck inside of this chair. So this chair is a phenomenal option. A lot of people are saying, hey, the Haworth Zodi is one of Haworth's best chairs. They really like it. I like it as well. The lower back kind of hugs that lumbar a little bit. One of the big things to consider though is the seat gap. When you have it all the way out, you do feel a seat gap back here. So if you're someone on the short side who likes to fully, extend the seat so you can really curl up into it and you scooch back, you might feel a seat gap in your butt. But otherwise, the features, again, this is a knockout. It's got all the features, functions you could ever want. It's also got a forward tilt as well. And the forward tilt is pretty dramatic compared to all of Haworth's other chairs so far. This thing tilts pretty far. It's got a great lean so that you're able to get close or play games really close to the screen and maintain a good posture. Helps you get out of the chair as well if you have knee issues like I do. Just a really phenomenal chair. The lumbar support feels great. Now, the open box Haworth, again, I'm saying this a million times, but you gotta know, just so that, I wanna keep it honest here. Crandall Office only provides a 2-year warranty for their open box Haworth chairs, and there are no returns allowed. It's considered final sale. So you can either buy it open box from Crandall Office, or if you want to buy it new, it's going to be $1,200. So you're going to see this chair on the high tier list, but just wanted to keep that in mind. I think what keeps the Haworth Zodi from being as popular as it could be, especially in the average and the tall height ranges, is going to be the fact that it doesn't have a headrest. Now, I can imagine it's pretty easy to attach a headrest to this thing, and there might be some from third parties, but none that I know that are very reputable, so something to keep in mind. But a lot of people have said the Haworth Zodi is their favorite Haworth chair, and I can see why. It's really an underappreciated chair, phenomenal feeling chair, something definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a chair with a mesh back, with a good cushion, with a forward tiltability. Excellent chair. For the tall friends out there, we've got the Herman Miller Aeron refurbished from Crandall Office. Crandall Office is going to actually refurbish the chair. You can buy these things anywhere. You can buy it locally from some warehouse or something, and they're going to say it's refurbished, but I can't promise you what that word refurbished means. You know, most of the time they just slap on a new gas cylinder and that's it, whereas Crandall Office will actually clean the chair, sanitize it, you know, do what they need to do to it to get it into great condition before they sell it, which is why you're paying the price premium. They also offer a 12-year warranty as well as free returns, also something you can't do off the streets or from some random vendor, so something to keep in mind. I'm not going to go into every single option, but the Herman Miller Aeron is the most famous chair probably in the world. I mean, this thing is famous for a reason. The mesh feels great. The mesh is a really high quality mesh. These things are tanks. They pretty much last forever. I think this one was made in like 91 or something, and this thing still feels really, really solid. If you want a deep dive into what to look for in a used Aeron, I've got a video on that. Just a really, really excellent chair. When it comes to you tall folks out there, you're gonna wanna get the size C. There's 3 sizes, A, B, and C. The way you can tell the size is that it's covered right now, but back here behind the Herman Miller logo, you're gonna feel back here underneath this thing, there are gonna be these dots. And if you feel 3 dots, that means it's a size C. 2 dots means B, 1 dot means A. For my tall friends, coming in at about $800 to $1,000 is going to be an open box Haworth Fern from Crandall Office. To explain again, Crandall Office in the used chair space, they are a trustworthy name. You can go check on Reddit, go check out their reputation online. You'll see that it's pretty great. There are a lot of used dealers that are really shady, so to find them has been really awesome, and I highly recommend them. But in open box, it's got some caveats, right? They only provide a 2-year warranty on the chair and no returns because it's considered final sale. If you were to buy these new, it is considerably more expensive, but you would get a 12-year warranty and free returns from Haworth. So something to keep in mind. Now, the reason why the Haworth Fern makes it onto this list is because it's just a phenomenal chair. I really like this chair. It's one of my top favorite chairs. This is the mesh version. This comes in, the open box comes in at about $800. And then not this chair, because this is a special edition chair, but I'm talking about just this backrest here. This is called the digital knit version. These things are little pockets of fabric, and it feels really cushy on the back, almost massagey. It feels really great, but it's not as breathable. So if you want to get the digital knit version, it's going to cost you $1,000 bucks. So something to keep in mind. In terms of feature set, it's got all the features you could ever want. The arms go super low if you ever want them out of the way. Look how low these things go. The forward tilt on this chair also, you know, if you want that forward tilt to get closer to your screen, get closer to your desk, it's great. For you tall folks out there, because it has a tall back, it can provide a lot of support up that back. And then the headrest. Now, if you were to get a headrest from Haworth, which I strongly do not recommend, I hate these headrests. This is the headrest you would get on this chair if it would be in the same fabric here, but this is what it would look like on all the chairs, and it's terrible. It literally is just a pad that goes up and down, and that's it. It's really bad. It's dense, not very comfortable at all. My friends over at ANY Headrest, they created a third-party headrest for the Haworth Fern. This thing is phenomenal. Yes, I know the fabric color doesn't match the fabric on the front. The casing does match the gray on the back though, not 1-to-1, but it's close enough. So the fact that this exists is phenomenal, and it can go super duper high as well. And so if you're someone who's tall, this could be a great option to give you that extra back and neck support that you desperately need, because a lot of these chairs just aren't tall enough. This thing is not cheap, but I'm telling you, it's got excellent adjustment. It can go forward and back. It can be raised up and down, and then it can swivel. So it's really easy to adjust, and then you can really dial these things in, turn these knobs so that it's really kind of locked into place, so you can't really move the thing while sitting inside of the chair. So it's a phenomenal option. I highly recommend, if you do get one with a headrest because you get like a special version. You can remove these headrests and you can attach this one, or just get one without a headrest and then get a third-party Atlas headrest for the, for the Haworth Fern. And yeah, I think you're gonna like this a lot better. If you want to get this headrest, you can use my code for $5 off. Next up, we have the remanufactured steel case gesture. Crandall office sells these. What remanufactured means they go find old steel case chairs, they refurbish them with their in-depth process, they sell them with a 12-year warranty and free returns. So the steel case gesture, one of the best built chairs in the industry. The remanufactured one starts at around $900. I mean, these things are built like freaking tanks. I mean, it's just the build quality is so solid. The arms are probably one of the best, most adjustable arms in the industry. They're able to move exactly where you want them to go. They do move out of position a little bit easier, which people don't always love, but in terms of bringing them to where you want, super duper easy to do. The seat depth, kind of like what I showed, the Kolami Atlas, I think copied the Gesture's seat depth adjustment, but when you're sitting full weight inside of the chair, you're able to bring that seat depth out to really get that extra seat depth for you tall folks out there who really want some leg support. You can see how deep this thing goes. Really great, no seat gap in the back there, and then you've also got things like extra lumbar support back here in this knob. It'll really tighten or loosen that lumbar in the back there, really hugging that, really offering that. Feels really, really good. The one thing though that you want to note is that if you are taller than 6'2", you probably don't want to get a headrest because this thing can go high, but not that high. And at one point, this thing starts to no longer be supportive and just kind of starts to poke you a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind. I think if you're taller than 6'3", you should probably go for the non-headrest version, which is why I have this one here. Tall folks, I'm Rich Biatch. First chair on the I'm Rich Biatch budget is going to be an authorized return steel case gesture. Authorized return, again, a reminder, is that people decide to return their chairs back to steel case. Crandall office goes there, negotiates with them, gets those chairs, and they sell it to people with a 12-year warranty and free return. So these are basically like new chairs. And if you want to buy it brand new from steel case, it's also in this price tier at $1,400, and instead you'll get 12-year warranty from Steelcase as well as free returns from Steelcase. So you can choose either option. Both are great. Steelcase Gesture, one of the best built chairs in the industry. I mean, this thing is built like a tank. It's got some of the best adjustable armrests in the industry. You can get it to go wherever you want it to go. They move out of position a little bit easy, so some people don't love that. But in terms of moving it where you want, super easy to do. It's got a lot of high-end adjustment features. It feels really premium, like in the Kolami Atlas I talked about earlier, where you can sit full weight in the chair and be able to change the seat depth, that the Gesture is able to do that, and you don't feel any gap in that seat back, gap in the seat back there. You've also got this lumbar kind of tightening system that makes you kind of hugs that lower back area. Just a really, really great chair. For the tall friends out there, I've got another mesh chair option for you. Ignore this one. This one's too short for you guys. This is the Steelcase Carmen High Back. Love this chair, my favorite mesh chair. This thing, the mesh is gonna be a little more fabric-y in nature. It's not plasticky and hard like on the Aeron as well as other chairs. It feels really, really good. This chair flexes and moves with you. Again, if you're wondering why would I want a chair that flexes and moves with me, it's the idea that you can sit inside of a chair and kind of move. Like think about the different ways that you want to sit. You kind of want to lean to one side, kind of want to raise a leg up, maybe even tuck a leg like this, maybe lean back, whatever it might be. This chair will adapt to however you want to sit in it. Compare that to an Aeron where you're just kind of sitting like this, and if you ever turn or tilt, you're banging into hard edges, banging into hard frame in the back, just banging into everything, pinching, whatever. If you're not into that and you like moving throughout the day, the Carmen is going to be the chair for you, especially if you want breathability of a mesh chair. Excellent chair, very simplified controls as well. It's got a weight-activated recline, which basically means as much pressure you put on the back, it's going to push back on you so you feel like you're floating. Works really, really well. High back for the tall folks, it should cover you, it should be okay. Really great chair. 12-year warranty from Steelcase and free returns as well. So highly recommend. For my tall friends out there, we have the Haworth Fern brand new from Haworth. If you get it brand new from Haworth, it's going to run you this mesh version. It's going to start around $1,200. And then if you want to get a digital knit version, not this one, this is the gaming version, but one with this kind of back, it's about $1,300. And then if you want to get these gaming versions, I believe the Halo version is $1,400 and the Xbox is $1,500. I think those are the prices. Now for you really tall folks out there, I'm going to strongly recommend that even if you're not into Xbox, that you get the Xbox version. And the reason why, in my testing, Of all 3 Ferns that I have here, the Xbox is the only one that doesn't have a seat gap back here when you extend the seat all the way out. And this is huge because a lot of tall people, really tall people, have said, I love the Fern, but I cannot stand this seat gap back here. And the Xbox Fern is the only one that I haven't experienced any seat gap whatsoever. And so I cannot guarantee if this is a quality control issue or what's going on, but it's the only one where I couldn't feel that. And because of that, that was the one thing that was stopping really tall people from keeping their Ferns. And if that is fixed on the Xbox One, I can easily recommend it. Also, this headrest, it comes with the Xbox version. I hate it. I think it's the worst headrest. I hate it so much. You can actually remove these things. There are like instructional papers on how to do it. People have been asking me to make a video on it. I will soon, trying to find the time. But you can replace this with a Atlas headrest attachment here. This one obviously is the white to match with gray to match the gray frame, but you can get a black one that matches with the black, and the fabric will be black. So it'll match better with this chair. It's not going to be a one-to-one, but it's a phenomenal replacement, especially if you're super tall and you want extra neck and shoulder support. This thing is phenomenal. The way it adjusts is you got these 2 screws here, hand screws. You can adjust it up and down and in and out like this, and then you can go ahead and tighten it, and it's really great because then when you're sitting inside of the chair, it's still loose enough that you can adjust it by hand, but you won't be able to adjust it with your body. I can barely adjust it with my hand now. But yeah, this is a phenomenal headrest. The seat cushion is fantastic, really soft, fits in that crook of the neck extremely well. You can use my code for $5 off. Highly recommend, especially for you tall folks out there. Next up is the Steelcase Leap V2, buying it brand new from Steelcase. It starts at $1,300. I really love it. At first, I didn't love this chair, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. You can buy this chair with a headrest, but the headrest is god-awful. It's not adjustable. It's literally 2 prongs with a pad on it, and it cannot move whatsoever. I strongly recommend you do not buy the headrest version. However, my friends over at Atlas Headrest are actually working with Crandall Office to create an adjustable headrest for this chair. I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to get it. I'm bothering them often to be like, hey, can you guys send, when is it ready? Like, can you send it? I'd love to test it. I think there are a couple versions out there already. I don't really love the company that's making it right now because their headrests are pretty much all the same, and it's a design that I don't love. But if you want one right now, you can either do that, or there are 3D printed versions of it that you can find online. I actually have one. I haven't had the time to unbox it and test it, but that version does exist. And when I get the Crandall Office Atlas collab headrest, I'll compare it with the 3D printed one. The person who sent it to me, thank you so much. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to it, but I have that one. So if you want a headrest right now, you can even get a 3D printed version of it. But yeah, the Atlas headrest / Crandall Office collab should be coming in the near future. Now, what makes this chair so good? Man, this is probably like the #2 most popular chair in the world. This thing is phenomenal. It's really grown on me. When I moved studios, I was kind of forced to sit in this chair, and the tilt back is really interesting. When you tilt, the legs, the seat pan actually comes out a little bit, and this seat pan feels great. Also, the flexibility on this chair is ridiculous. When you move around in it, it's really able to flex with you. All the high-end chairs from Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth have this kind of back flex, and a lot of people are like, why do I want that? Am I doing yoga in my chair? That's not it. It's the idea that, look, throughout the day, you're going to want to stretch, you're going to want to move, and these chairs allow you to do that. Feel the freedom to do that. Allow blood flow to work. Allow you to change into different positions. Sit however you want to sit, and it all feels comfortable. You're not going to be like forced to sit like this in your chair all day because the seat's not moving with you. So because of those things, it's excellent. These armrests, they're a little bit loose for my taste. They move a little too easily, but in terms of adjustments, they are phenomenal. They got a huge range of motion in every which way. And some of the best things about this is going to be the fact that you get so much adjustability when it comes to your lower back. Not only can you raise the lumbar support up and down, but then you've got this giant knob here which can really tighten that lower back cushion here. It like really firms it up or loosens it up. And then you've got, seat pan. And I'm not sure, I can't remember, because this is a remanufactured one with a thicker seat cushion I have right here. I can't remember, but I think on the regular seat cushion, I could feel a seat gap, but with the thicker seat cushion, I can't feel a seat gap. So another plus for why you might want to get remanufactured with a thicker cushion, something to consider, something to think about. Also, if you already have a Steelcase Leap V2, I think Crandall Office sells these individually, the seat cushion. So another option if you want to do that. Yeah, Steelcase Leap V2, excellent. For my tall friends, we have the human scale freedom here, but I recommend you don't get the headrest version because this thing is probably good up to about 6'2" and no higher than that. So if you're taller than 6'2", this might not fit you. It might end up digging into your shoulders or something like that. So you could get the chair without it and just get the backrest version. Now, this is a bit of a risk here because I haven't heard a lot of people give their input on this chair. The reason why it's on this list is because I think it's a phenomenal. The seat is fantastic. This is the upgraded gel seat, by the way, which I really recommend. This is a weight activated chair, so it's a simple chair. There aren't tension adjustments and things like that. When you tilt back into it or when you put pressure onto it, it's going to push back on you so you feel like you're floating. There is a secret adjustment under the chair which you can adjust to make it so that it's more tight, so that I remember I used to own this chair years ago and I hated it because it would just like flop back. My back was on fire. But once I found out about that tension, I like my chairs really tensioned pretty hard, that I just have a tiny bit of tilt back, and I was able to achieve that using that thing. Human Scale doesn't talk about it for some reason. I had to find it on Reddit, but it's been a game changer and I've fallen in love with this chair. Now, a couple of the reasons why you might love this as a tall person is because the seat cushion is nice and wide, and even with the backrest up, when you scooch all the way back, you don't really feel any kind of seat gap. When you tilt back pretty far, that's when you start to feel a gap, but sitting upright, even tilting a little bit, you don't feel anything. And also, the backrest can be adjusted. Let me go ahead and raise this headrest all the way up. The backrest, you can see it can go from short all the way to up here. So it gives you that extra back support that you want out of your chair from that back adjustment. And the arms go super low, so if you're someone who likes to play guitar or whatever it might be, you want to get the armrest out of the way, you can do that. So at $1,300, I think it's an excellent option. 15-year warranty on the chair, but then there are some weird conditions, like the fabric has a 5-year warranty for some reason, and then returns-wise, it's not super clear to me what the return policy is. It seems like there might be like a 15 to 20% restocking fee, but again, not super sure, so something you might want to look into before picking it up. But overall, I'm really enjoying this chair. It's one of my top S-tier picks. I really, really like it. For my tall friends, this is the Herman Miller Mira 2. This was not on the list last year, but after sitting in it a little bit more, I'm kind of like, why not? Because this backrest is actually really tall, and the best part about it is that if you look, it is fairly flat, which means there's no turning in, there's no digging here, and when I sit in it, the thing that I'm most impressed by are those shoulder supports up here. So imagine if you're taller, it's gonna be giving you support all the way up through that back instead of digging in anywhere. And I think it could be a good option, especially a mesh option, which there really aren't that many for tall folks. Unfortunately, it is on the higher end. This thing is about, what, like $1,300, $1,400. One of the downsides of this is gonna be that you're not gonna get a ton of leg support here. You can flex this thing out and it can give you a little bit more support, but you're not gonna get, a ton of it. But compared to some other chairs, you are getting more leg support than those. The arms go really low, right? They can also get really high as well, so you can put them low to get them out of the way. Overall, this chair just feels really great. Oh, one note is you probably wanna get the butterfly suspension version of this. What that means is you see how there's like this fabric here. This has a little bit of cushion to it, and it creates a barrier to this hard plastic thing. If you don't get it, you're just gonna have this plastic thing exposed. And in my personal experience, when I sat on it, it was kind of digging into my back. So this thing offers a little bit of cushion, and it's a game changer. I much prefer this version compared to the one without it. Excellent chair, 12-year warranty, no more free returns, no free shipping from Herman Miller, because I think a lot of people have been abusing that system. But if you can swallow that, if you can get past that, excellent chair, really big fan of it. Next up is the Anthros chair. Now, if you are super duper tall, you could be hit or miss on this one, but Anthros does provide free returns, so it might be worth checking out to see if it does fit you. Now, from my experiments, what I've seen is that short folks probably will not fit, which is why you won't see this in the short best tier list, but you will see it in the average and the tall folks tier list, because some tall folks said they love it, some tall folks said they weren't such a huge fan of it. When it comes to the Anthros chair, the people behind this chair, they designed wheelchairs, and so they know how to make a seat that's supposed to be comfortable all day, and this thing is so good. This seat is so good. It's super soft. It's super supportive. It just feels really good. But the main reason why I love this chair, why it's one of my top chair picks next to the Hayworth Fern, next to the Herman Miller Embody, next to the Steelcase Carmen, is just because of this this pelvic support here. When you sit on this, I mean, it really is, I think, the best chair for fixing bad posture in a chair, for helping you sit more healthily throughout the day, potentially even for removing some back pain from weird sitting throughout the years, or even weird sitting now. Like, I think it's a really excellent chair for that. When you sit in this thing, it just feels like, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to be sitting. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. When you sit in it, for me, I'm like, oh, this is how I should be sitting. And it does it without hurting you. But when you sit like this for a little while, your back's gonna be like, no, man, I wanna go back to slouching. And so it does take a little bit of readjusting to sit properly. But man, this is just an excellent chair. It's not all rainbows and butterflies though. These arms are pretty dinky. The tilt isn't the best tilt in the world. And the price can be a little bit pricey. It's supposed to be $2,000 starting, but then I have a permanent coupon code. It's $200 off, so it's basically $1,800. This is not sponsored in any way, right? Because of the coupon code exists, I'm just gonna call it 1,800 bucks. Yeah, 12-year warranty, free returns, so if you wanna try it, you can do that. Really, really like this chair. I'm really enjoying it a lot. It's especially as I'm trying to improve my posture and my health, I've really been enjoying this chair a lot more. So yeah, like it. This is the remastered Herman Miller Aeron. It comes in at $1,805 from Herman Miller. And this thing, you're gonna wanna get a size C, my tall friends, with definitely probably wanna get an Atlas headrest for it as well. You can get a mesh version, which is a 1-to-1 match in terms of the frame color and the mesh material. So it looks identical. It looks like it's OEM, supposed to be part of the chair. Excellent, people rave about this headrest. It's out there, go look, right? You'll see that people love this thing. Herman Miller Aeron, same thing. I don't even need to talk about it. The chair speaks for itself, most popular chair in the world. Why would you get the remastered over the old classic ones? It's got a couple updated design language things, the biggest one being this waterfall edge in the front. Waterfall edge means that it kind of dips down faster, and the reason why that's good is because a lot of people report their legs falling asleep, their butts falling asleep inside of an Aeron. With the waterfall edge, it should promote more circulation in the legs, prevent that from happening, ideally, theoretically. Whether that happens or not, I'm not really sure. The Herman Miller Aeron was my first love. It's the first chair that really did away with a lot of the back pain I was having in the chairs I was sitting in. So it's got a sweet spot in my heart. It's an excellent chair, world famous, needs no defense, 12-year warranty, returns and shipping is no longer free, but those are, for the best chair in the world, one of the best chairs in the world. I mean, is that something that matters to you? Love to know in the comments. Final chair on the list is going to be the Herman Miller Embody. This is the non-gaming Embody, and this is the gaming Embody. Both come in different color variants, but this is the ones that you see here. The Herman Miller Embody, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's my favorite chair. This was kind of a framework breaking chair for me. A lot of people were talking about how much they like the Embody. This was before it got super famous, and then I decided to get it, and when I sat in it, I was like, wow, okay, this is a different type of chair. Phenomenal. They somehow took the kind of flexibility of mesh, but put softer cushions on it and just made it a really wide and open chair that allows you to sit however you feel like. Great for single, double tuckers. You can sit in this chair any way that you want. Sometimes it's almost too encouraging for me to slouch in the chair sometimes. When I unlock the back lock like this, sometimes I do find myself slouching in the chair because every position in this chair is super comfortable. I've made multiple videos on this chair because I do love it so much. And yeah, I recommend you watch those. Just really, really excellent chair. And for you super tall folks out there, this chair, if you want to get the Embody, it's almost mandatory that you get a headrest with it because of these things here. You can see kind of like here, these shoulder bumps here, they kind of turn inwards. And because they turn in, I've heard from really tall folks say, and this is kind of like split. I've heard some people say it's not an issue. I've heard some people say it is an issue, that because this thing turns in, it tends to dig into their shoulder sometimes. And this headrest can really help with that because if you put this down like this, you can see that it gives you a layer of cushion from that shoulder part while at the same time not pushing your shoulders forward. This cushion is so good. This thing kind of stops back here that it just offers that extra cushion, and it's just, I don't know, this headrest is just phenomenal. It can be used as an actual headrest, a neck rest, or it can even offer upper shoulder and neck support if you wanted it that way because of how cushy and soft this thing is. So love the Embody, love the gaming Embody. This is why I own 3 of them. There's another one over there somewhere. So yeah, I actually own 4 because I have one at home actually. So yeah, that's how much I love these things. Honestly, I didn't get to test too many active seating chairs this year. My knee hasn't quite been the same, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't really test them in a way that I think would do the chairs justice. But these 2 chairs still remain some of my best-selling chairs in the active seating section. This here is the Capisco chair by a company called Hogue. This is also what I refer to as the Joe Rogan chair. And this over here is the Ariel 1 chair by a company called Core 360. This is one of my best-selling chairs, and nobody I think has ever returned this chair. It's a really cool, really interesting chair. Anyways, let's start with this one here, the Capisco chair. This thing is a sit however the heck you want chair. You can sit sideways like this and lean. You can lock it. Sorry, let me go ahead and lock this here. So then, I'm able to kind of sit like this if I wanted. I could sit like this if I wanted. I could sit the other way if I wanted. I could kneel on top of it, which I've seen people do, and work like this because your knees are holding you there. So it's really kind of like work however you want, sit however you want. Joe Rogan sits vanilla seating, like vanilla sitting, just regular in this chair, and he loves this thing. I love that it's got these grips on the front here and the legs extend really far. So for my fidgeters out there who like to move and like to turn throughout the day, it's a great option for that. Joe Rogan swears that it's been great for his back, and he uses it on his podcast, and those things go for like 3 hours without them getting up. So he swears by it, he really loves it. I think it's a phenomenal chair. Really, really cool, really well designed. Also, one final feature that I think is really cool to note is that this thing, if you pull this knob here, you can actually slide the backrest up and down. So if you're shorter, you can have it even shorter like that. Really cool chair. Then we have this Ariel chair here. This thing is basically like a core workout chair thing here. So this whole thing flops around in every single direction, and it's got this little lump here that prevents you from just kind of like falling out of the chair. And if you're wondering how good is this chair, like is it really, I'm like 170 pounds, and look at this. I'm able to go back, no problem. Like, no issue whatsoever. If you wanted, it's great for like tilting forward. You'll see this chair show up in a lot of my videos where I'll kind of be leaning over the chair like this because I'm able to turn and bounce and move like this and spin around. And if you can get this with wheels as well. So if you're working in like a garage, it's great for like tilting down and things like that as well. It gets pretty low as well if you really wanted to get really low. It goes pretty high, and it's got a nice little handle thing back here that you can kind of carry it around. It's super lightweight. Just a really great chair. And sometimes what's really fun is I'll just kind of go like this and I'll just start doing like sit-ups inside the chair. No problem. I just want to show you like, yeah, I'm having no problems whatsoever. And it really just can be like a good core workout if you really want it throughout the day. So fantastic chair. And we're done, finally. Please use my links. They're going to be in the spreadsheet. They're going to be in the YouTube shop. Really helps this channel a lot. I'm going to take a nap. This is the Eames lounge chair. I've also reviewed this as well. The video will be over here. Until next time, stay honest. Woo! Woo!